They will never truly comprehend, Jama'ah, even after 7 decades, that we aren't going anywhere. We are just getting started. I want to say to all of them, every genocide enabler, look at this room's. We ain't going anywhere.
All right, Dana, what was she talking about? Please translate.
Well, okay. Did you see up at the top in the left-hand side, we always tell you where that was taking place? That was not taking place outside of the borders of the United States. It was taking place in Detroit. And aside from the misplaced cursing, which does nothing to persuade, I don't think me, you can hear in the voices of the crowd that they like the point about Gaza, right? And the Palestinians. That is going to be a rallying cry for the next year because we are on the precipice of Israel doing one of two things. They're either going to get the hostages back or they're going to go in and take over Gaza.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 1,000 cities around the world. We just finished 16 years of broadcast excellence, now in our 17th year. The Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. U.S. Congressman Rashida Tlaib tells us as in a smut-filled speech that America better get used to her and her other America haters because they aren't going anywhere. It's rare that you see an elected person in her district to claim you hate Jews and America. By the way, she gave her speech in Detroit. But there is hope. The long, drawn-out war, once honored by Hamas murderers of 1,300 innocent Israeli citizens, and the taking of 256 hostages, has lifted some real interesting changes. Recently published on Memory TV, a longtime spokesgroup against Jews and Israel. A Saudi journalist and a Kuwait, Dawan al-Mullah of Kuwait, gave a devastating message to Hamas. Thanks to Donald Trump, Netanyahu, and God, they put all the blame on Hamas and the rest of the murderous countries who attacked Israel while Gaza and the Jewish state were under a ceasefire agreement. Thank you, Iran. They also took on the UN as the UN allied with Hamas and with the other 7 dwarfs of the Iran cabal. Apparently, there are Muslims who don't buy into the Jew hatred and want a life based on cooperation with the Jewish state and America and the Abraham Accords and amongst each other. This is a miracle Amongst the others God did for Israel after Bibi Netanyahu finally stopped the nonsense of 17 broken ceasefires by Gaza, with Gaza, and after 2 years and 11 months of war, Hamas still have hostages. Finally, after 20 years of murdering Jews and the two-state solution, Israel manned up and struck back. Every day, we're tested by a teacher much smarter than we are. Lesson learned.
Be aware. Mamdani said that he doesn't want to say globalize the intifada anymore. It's exactly what they're doing. It's exactly what they're doing. And he can say to the business community in New York, that's where he said that. There was a meeting where he was like, oh, hi, I'm going to be the mayor. And he's in front of the business community. And they're like, what about the anti-Semitism? It's like, oh, yeah, I won't say that anymore. That doesn't mean he doesn't believe it anymore. And they are out there. They're trying to rally the troops on this issue. It's not about affordability. It's not about crime. It's not about making sure that you can have access to the American dream. There are things that the Democrats could press on right now if they wanted to, but they don't. This is their rallying cry. And be aware, it might start in New York, but it is coming to a city near you.
You know, if it wasn't so ugly, it would be so interesting to watch what the Democrats are doing. It's incredible. Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. My name is Dave Weinbaum. I'm here with my lovely bride. Let me take a good look at you, honey. What did you drop coming in here?
That was Velcro.
Oh, Velcro.
Yes, that was
There's
Velcro.
always a big noise that accompanies her somehow, some way into my monologue, and I don't know what to do about it.
You prefer I use the zipper lunch bag instead of the Velcro.
Yeah, there's a few things you ought to be zipping up. That's for darn sure. I gotta thank JP as well. He's the producer of the show. Hi, JP.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
And Rick from Rick Henderson from Salem, Missouri, and also we have a great show today. JJ Bradshaw, 8:10. He's going to be on in a minute or two, couple minutes. Rabbi Moshe Rothschild on at 8:40. Joe Dalton, 9:15, talking about the March for Life. That should be interesting. And we got two. I call them the Bruise Brothers, Bill Hardwick and Don Mayhew, running for the same office of Senate in the in the Congress of Missouri. That should be interesting. Watch these guys beat each other up. Actually, they don't. They get along. That's the weird thing, you know. And this is interesting. Thomas Haviland, he's going to be on last. And this is the guy that found out about the white blood clots, and he found this out a long time ago. But he was banned from his job as a military contractor because he wouldn't take the shot. They tried to force him, and then they fired him. And I got to ask him how the hell did he this. Here's a guy that's not a doctor, but he discovered something that these white fibrous blood clots were in these embalming places, and they started to show up as COVID allegedly was around. But this amazing testimony from RFK in the U.S. Senate yesterday was amazing. My God, I thought they were going to start fighting physically. It was so ugly. It was ugly. The Dems are they don't know what they're doing, really. They're scared to death. And when you're scared, what do? You either run away or you fight back with skill. And in their case, they're just fighting back and they're just flapping their mouths and they're threatening RFK and yelling at him to resign, get out, and all sorts of stuff. And he ain't buying it. He is fighting back just as hard. Just as hard. He's a good man in my mind. And he was one of them. He was a Democrat, for goodness sakes. All his family are Democrats. His family, at one point, disowned him because he joined Trump. And this is just incredible stuff. All right, so we got Israel we're going to cover today. The rabbi is going to have an amazing situation, I believe, to talk about, because I think things are going Israel's way, and hopefully before too soon, the shooting will stop, the killing will stop. Israel will be completely exonerated all over the world, as they should never have been picked on like that. And ladies and gentlemen, I see a gentleman sitting across from me, not physically, but he's not. I don't think. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this man is 257 years old, and he's a smart guy, boy. He studied the Constitution. He's an expert on it. He used to hear women revolutionary times with George Washington and Ben Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. But today he is here, and he doesn't show his age at all. He's a smart guy. Like I say, please welcome all the way from Rolla, Missouri, which is where we're at, John Jeffrey Bradshaw. JJ, how are you today?
I'm pretty good, Dave. I'm exercising my First and Second Amendment rights this morning. I'm on your show for the First Amendment, obviously. My Second Amendment rights, I am at the Gadsden Shooting Center in Iberia, Missouri, part of hosting the largest three-gun event in the state of Missouri.
Cool.
There are people out here that are shooting stuff. They're not shooting each other. They're not rioting. As a matter of fact, as an aside, these are the most polite, law-abiding people you're likely to find. Why? Well, A, they're law-abiding, responsible people, but B, every single one of us is armed. And when you're amongst a bunch of armed people, you tend to be a polite gentleman. I wish more of that went on in this world. I'm having a ball. I'm tired as hell because I've been working hard. Let me tell you something about your monologue. You mentioned Hamas.
Yeah.
When the rabbi comes on, please ask him what his thoughts on Netanyahu are on this Hamas business. What's so interesting to me is Trump said, put up or shut up, boys. Netanyahu said, put up or shut up, boys.
Bingo.
Now some of the Arab world are saying, put up or shut up, boys.
That was a shocker.
Things are going to happen.
Memory TV is not friendly to Jews or Israel or America, for that matter.
Absolutely.
And they are coming out against Hamas. Wow, that's a big sea change.
When Al Jazeera criticizes another Arab outfit, something's going on.
Well, that's not the old I don't think, is it?
I think the doom is written. When you've got most of the world saying, Hamas, you're on the wrong side of this, and all the folks in Hamas are saying, yeah, we're right.
Yeah.
This is like the Democrats saying orange man bad. There's nothing in there. This is a nothing burger.
Well, this is important.
I want to hear what the rabbi has to say about it.
Yeah, they're backing Israel all of a sudden, and they're blaming Hamas. They're blaming Iran. They're blaming all the other little countries that went against Israel almost unanimously, and they're also picking up on the UN participation in the war. Wow. I mean, that's quite a slice of history right there.
Don't you think these folks are taking a look at the facts of this and saying, we've been on the wrong side of this? It's time to jump on the wagon of the right side. I think
they've been saying it all along. But it takes a lot to come out and do what we do and say what we think as we're finding out things. People want to wait and see what the reaction is, because then that puts them up a little bit in terms of their their ability to be safe as well.
This is politics, and you and I talk about politics all the time, every week. I think Hamas's politics on this are wrong, and it appears the balance of the world is feeling the same way that we are. Now,
that's right.
What would seal the deal, Dave, is for the balance of the Arab world to sign on to the Abraham Accords, and I think there's a movement afoot to do just that.
I definitely think so. I mean, one of the journalists was Saudi Arabia, and they were also accused of Saudi Arabia was accused of shooting down missiles sent to us by the Houthis. The Yemenis Houthis, and so you got to wonder that was a while back, and that's something that's very important.
The Saudis have been talking out both sides of their mouth for years on this stuff. Several of our executive branch regimes have claimed that the Saudis were our favorites in the Arab world. They were our friends. At the same time, privately, the Saudis were funneling money towards terrorist groups. So they're saying nice things on one side, and then they're financing the ugly things on the other side. At least Iran, we know they're our enemy. They say death to America, and they send money to the terrorists. So, Dave, this is so twisted. The politics of this is so complicated. I have a hard time following it, and I read this stuff all the time. I think Donald J. Trump has put energy into this thing that it has not had since his first administration. We had nothing during the Biden years. I think we're gonna see peace over there, Dave. And I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime. It's amazing.
I think it's really possible, and I think Trump. It took Bibi Netanyahu 20 years to figure out that you just can't keep getting attacked, and then attacking back and having a little 2 or 3 day war, and then have a ceasefire 17 times, and this is going to somehow work. It kept escalating and escalating to what it is today, and finally he said, "We're not going to do this anymore. We have to take them out. We have to take them out." After 1,300 people get murdered in one day in a state that's like 75% or 25% of what all these other countries are that are against them, then it's time. It's time. You said what you're going to do, and I think God has provided him with some miracles along the way.
I think so, and it. I find it to be so intriguing that for years, for decades, public sentiment and political sentiment has been against Israel. And that's unjustified. Even within Netanyahu's own regime, there are folks in the Knesset that would kick him out if they could. They've been prosecuting him, doing the same lawfare thing that our folks did to Trump to try to get him out of there. So
politics.
He certainly doesn't have. Say again?
I said that's politics. If you're going to have a free country, you're going to have politics. I don't care how good you are.
Of course you are.
How good is Trump?
What amazed me, Dave, is that when Israel was attacked, the October 7th attack, I expected most of the Knesset to get behind him as their commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
They did not, but at least a majority of them did, enough that he maintained his power base. But I think he's going to go down in history as the fellow that actually did something about terrorism. And I think the terrorists are going to be studying him for a good long while after this.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear what the rabbi says in the worst sort of way.
Yeah. And, Israel is the only indigenous country ever that was appointed that land by God himself. He never did that. And he hasn't done it since or before. So he did that.
it's pretty interesting.
You can't threaten that. And if you believe in God, and I do, and finally, you have a lot of liberals in Israel, believe it or not,
Yes.
and so that's the reason why he's getting a lot of blowback. There are Israelis out there who would just as well give away half the country or whatever, just because they want to be nice, and it's
Anything
BS.
in the name of peace.
Yeah, and it's we want peace. No, they want a piece of you, and they want a piece of every man, woman, and child from the river to the sea. When they say river to the sea, you mean the state of Israel. When you're saying that, every person
from the West Bank all the way to the Med.
Yep.
So, okay, Dave, enough about Israel. I do want to hear what the rabbi has to say about it. I'll be listening.
Well, he'll be out.
Can we talk about the Democrats and New Orleans and Chicago and some things that Donald Trump is messing around with? Let's start with Chicago. Trump did a pretty good number in Washington, D.C., and is continuing to do so. And there is support within the law for what he did in Washington, D.C. Chicago is a little bit different. So is New Orleans. It's a little more tenuous as far as sending National Guard troops there. But let's talk about Pritzker for just a minute and the mayor of Chicago, who right off the bat went up against Trump and said, this is a bad idea. In essence, they said, we support the criminals, not the law-abiding within our city. Pritzker has made a big deal out of this. I think he's trying to make this a campaign issue. The trouble is he's on the wrong side of it, and all the folks in Chicago who have been victims of this terrible criminality that's been going on for decades are saying, wait a minute, you are on the wrong side of this thing. We want the National Guard here. We want our laws to be enforced. And it turns out Pritzker is looking kind of bad on this, and so is the mayor of Chicago.
Well, what they're saying, and the mayor of Chicago is a black man, and what they're saying is black lives don't matter.
Yes,
that's exactly what they're saying.
I'll tell you something, Dave.
We want to do it our way, and we don't care what we don't care. We're just going to raise our tax. Everybody's moving out of Chicago now. They're all moving away.
That black mayor don't live in the hood, brother. He don't live in the ghetto.
Yeah, he lives in a place where he is mayor with 5% support. 5% support. That's all he's got.
Well, you and I both know that Chicago politics has been pretty dirty for a long, long time. And the fact is that the man on the street in Chicago that is seeing his city cleaned up, who can walk down to a restaurant and actually eat a meal without being mugged or murdered, who can actually drive his car down the loop and not be carjacked by some black teenager. Those folks are saying, maybe this is not such a bad idea. New Orleans is going to be the same thing. And I think coming to a city near you, I think Trump's going to aim it at all the blue cities and say, look what we did in these other places. We cleaned this up. We can do the same for you. And I think the man on the street is going to be very happy. This will be a popular policy. And the folks that are standing against it, like Pritzker, are on the wrong side, and they're going to be shown that at the ballot box.
D.C. is a cesspool too. How did that turn out when Trump did it? He's already done it in D.C. And what's the mayor, Mayor Bowser, saying about that?
Well, Merrell was on the wrong side of that, wasn't she?
For a while, but when he actually did it, she complimented him.
Yes. Then she got kind of quiet, and now she's saying, well, maybe that's not such a bad deal. Especially when you're spending federal dollars that would have otherwise been local dollars to put crime under control. I don't see that there's a downside to this thing.
No.
Well, the reason I brought all of that up is these blue states and blue cities where the politicians are, in essence, backing the criminal, in essence, backing the illegal, are going to be shown up to be kind of weak and puny and kind of corrupt. We got midterms coming up, Dave, and this is going to look kind of bad for the local Democrat parties as well as the national. I'm all for it. Okay, I'm a right-wing, staunch Republican, a conspiracy theorist, and a redneck from Raleigh, but I think that the Republicans are going to do a little sweep in the midterms.
Well,
As a
what are the
result,
Democrats? What's their issues?
result of
What is the Democrats' issues except for wanting Donald Trump dead? And they do. And they talk about it all the time.
Orange man bad. That's really what they got.
That's it.
And, you know, Trump derangement syndrome will only carry you so far. And I think it's carried that load as far as it's going to.
Well, because he proved, he said what he was going to do, and he's doing it. Is everything perfect?
He did it.
No. But he's trying, and he's doing, he's working on it. And compare him to Joe Biden. Well, there's no explanation for Joe Biden. There's not even an explanation for Joe Biden. He wasn't even running the country. He was getting he was getting everything signed by other people. He didn't know what the hell was
an empty. You know, promises made, promises kept probably ought to be the mantra for the Republican Party. Now, if we could get the House of Representatives and the Senate to get off of their duffs and implement some of Trump's policy into law, I would feel much better about this, because a lot of this is done on executive order, which can be turned around. Have you noticed the lawfare that the Dems were using in the courts has been jacked up 100-fold? They're after Trump for deportation. They're after Trump for taking over D.C. They're after Trump for everything they can come up with. And liberal judges are, sadly, providing injunctions for that. But all of that, if you look at this in the long view, is going to end up in the appellate courts and in the Supreme. And I think when these things get to the Supreme Court, the Dems are going to have a little problem, because we got a constitution that is pretty much against everything they've been doing. So the Democrats' lawfare, you know, they did this to Trump all of that time, got 34 convictions, blah, 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 blah. This baby's coming home to roost. I've been smiling the whole time while I read.
I'm smiling right now. I'm smiling all the time because, well, I just don't understand why they're doing. Well, they don't understand why they're doing it. They're just mad.
They don't,
and they're scared. They're real scared, because look at all the people now starting to get indicted, and the guys that are in trouble, like Adam Schiff. And things like that. They know they're going to get it. And even the prosecutor.
Letitia James.
Letitia's
got herself a problem.
Fannie Willis and all those people, they're in trouble. And they know they're in trouble.
I'm glad.
They're scared.
You know, they got away with that stuff for so long. When you had Biden in the White House, they could get away with that. Well, now it's a new sheriff in town, boys. We've got folks in DOJ and FBI that aren't going to take that BS anymore. And speaking of which, of successes, Tom Homan. Oh, my God. That guy is a bulldog. He has beat that southern border into submission. And I am so pleased with his performance. We're back to building the wall.
Now they got the money to do this, and they're doing it, and it's driving. I mean, this is what the plan was for the Democrats, was to these people would all become Democrat voters, and they gerrymander it by invasion, all these states, and they get the advantage everywhere. And I think it's not working out so good right now.
Yeah, your statement of gerrymandering by invasion is exactly what they were doing.
Oh, sure.
I'm glad you coined that phrase, because that is the Democrat Party in a nutshell right there. I saw an interview the other day, I think it was a clip on Newsmax, where one of the ranchers along the southern border, his ranch is about 5 miles from the actual border, said that he doesn't find dead bodies in his pastures anymore. He doesn't find. They stopped coming across there. And he said, for decades, we've had to try to put up with this and defend against this and be worried about our household, because we don't know if these folks are cartel members or not. And he said, this is a heck of a relief. At the same time, he was praising Tom Homan, which I'm doing right now. The guy's a bulldog and has done, I think, remarkable work.
Oh,
and
yeah.
of course, he gets death threats, and pretty much the death threats, he says, okay, bring it on. See what you can do.
Yeah.
I appreciate them.
He's a tough guy. You're right. He looks like a bulldog. He does look like a bulldog, and he is one. And with the people they got up there, Bondi and Cash in the FBI, and they're on it. And the FBI's got a real big problem. They have a lot of those people, both in the last DOJ that helped the Lawfare situation and did things to Trump, like Mago and the theft of his stuff to try to pinpoint him, and it was strictly done because of warfare, lawfare, or whatever you want to call it, strictly done for that purpose, to get rid of Trump. And now that guy he's fired. Yep. He's fired. He's done. So it's interesting.
Some of these folks were holdovers from the Obama administration. And why they managed to stay on that long, I don't know. I'm sure Bondi is trying to weed them out as quickly as he can.
Yeah, because it was really being run by Barack Obama via the people that were in his cabinet, him and Joe's cabinet, who went and worked allegedly for Biden. And I think they were closer to Obama than they were to Biden. And I think they were taking
I don't doubt that.
Taking advice from him. You know who was responsible for the Russia thing? It was one person. It was Barack Obama on December 8th of 2016. And they tried to
collusion with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Hillary. Her little hands are dirty in this as well.
Absolutely.
All of this is blowing up in their face, David. It's so exciting to me to read about this stuff, because I see these ugly things that are happening to the Democrats, which were identically the same things that they did to Donald Trump. Absolutely the same. And it's blowing up in their face. Dave, we're up against the clock. I'm going to go back and watch some shooters. It has been my pleasure.
Yeah, you know what? You do your best, and you get, sometimes you don't get rewarded for it for a while. And we've done our best to explain what was happening, and I think we've been right almost all the time. So thank you so much. Let's hear it for John Jeffrey Bradshaw.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you. Have a great tournament up there. A gun tournament, no less. I think we need to take let's see what we got. Oh, we got some time. Let's play number 1. Okay. We'll get that out of the way.
Democrats are leaking voters like a busted pipe. Over 2 million gone in 4 years, while the Republicans scoop them up. Airbnb's co-founder is one of those former Democrats, and he just left the Dems a 1-star review.
I sort of, began to look at other topics and eventually came to the point where I don't think I can support, a political party that wants to have an open border, that lets in, criminals and dangerous people in their country. That's not something I can get behind.
But can the left win them back with real policy and common sense? Not when the radicals rule the roost. Here's Rashida Tlaib going nuts at a conference. Listen.
They thought they could kill us, rape us, imprison us, violently uproot us from our olive tree farms, starve our children to death, and we would disappear. Well, guess what? Now we're in Congress.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Honey, what are you doing? What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about Koi Sushi and Hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy, but also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender, all one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the number one sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have. Gotta reach 'em, see it right now. Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we've got all the perks of a national bank, like online banking, quick loan approval, and you can deposit your check from your phone. But that's not why our customers love us. They love us because we still offer hometown customer service. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly team remind you how special hometown banking can be. We're locally owned and will take the time to understand your needs. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
What timing? This is amazing timing because usually we're a little bit late on him. Sometimes even he forgets, which is, he's got a lot on his mind. I realize that. But we have a wartime rabbi takes your dollars to help IDF widows finding them homes and for their kids and them, and providing a community amongst them so they won't suffer alone. Please welcome all the way from Israel, Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Dave. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Having a good morning. Israel,
Okay,
not
good.
Israel. Well, let me ask you this first because it's really number 3 on my list because I didn't see it till later. There's an Arab biased memory TV. You've heard of that, right? Yeah, and TV, and a Saudi writer and another guy from Yemen, I think, that Gaza and Hamas were responsible for all the crap that's gone on. They were totally responsible. It wasn't Israel's fault. 20,000 people killed because being replaced because Hamas was stupid and did stupid things. Stupid. Yeah, they killed people, a lot of them in one day, and they believe they are criminals. So what do you suddenly do you feel like a little wave of, and I realize there's going to be a lot of double dealing here. You don't say one thing here and don't say another thing there, but is there some interest in some of the Arabs coming around, seemingly?
I don't know. I haven't real. I mean, I saw what you just quoted. I saw that this week. I haven't seen a lot of that. I mean, we're now making a big push into Gaza City, and I haven't really seen. That seems to be unique. It's not a common refrain that we're hearing from the Arab world.
Well, what are they thinking? Do you know? I mean, it's easy to say they've been complicit in just about everything, but this is a huge loss in terms of the spirits of certain people that are running Hamas, that are subject to them and things like that. And this is a huge turnaround. When you guys were doing all the mowing the grass, and then they'd attack, and 2 days later you'd attack, and then they'd have a ceasefire. It kept going and going and going until it got really bad. This time it was the worst, and finally, you guys turned on them and did it without knowing how it would come out. You didn't know. I mean, with Biden there, I mean, my God, anything could have happened.
Look, we think about what would have happened if Harris had won, if Kamala had won. It would have been a disaster. And the Israel has been able to withstand the incredible pressure that we're under from the quote unquote international community, right? And we've only been able to do that because of the United States, because of Donald Trump.
Right.
And if Harris had won, I don't even know where we'd be right now. For sure, the Iranian war, that part would never have happened. We wouldn't be pushing into Gaza City, which is the last, main stronghold of Hamas. And I shudder to think about the day when the Trump presidency comes to an end, and hopefully this will be for sure wrapped up by then. But there'll be other things, And who knows what's going to happen? Will J.D. Vance run? Will he win? Will the Democrats win? What's going to happen after this this presidential term is over? So Israel has been able to fight this war, but make no mistake, we're under a lot of pressure.
Well, I don't blame Biden because he didn't know what he's doing. He didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
I think it's like 95% Barack Hussein Obama. And he has been running things via his staff, now working for, or was working for, Biden, and also for Kamala. And they would be running the show, and that would be not good news for any Israeli or Jew anywhere in the world. So,
right.
Do you agree
it's a
with
scary
that?
thought.
Yeah,
100%. It's a very scary thought, and like I said, I think we're on borrowed time here.
Yeah.
That tidal wave got interrupted by Trump winning the election, and let's see what happens.
So Trump is telling him, you get those hostages. There's 20 left, roughly. Is that correct?
20 that we believe might still be alive.
Right.
There's 48 in total.
48 in total. They murdered them. They used them. They beat them. They raped them.
They know that without these hostages, this would be over in no time. We took care of Hezbollah in 2 weeks. When Hezbollah in the north, but there was no concern of killing your own hostages, and Hamas, in my opinion, is never going to let them go.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing they're holding on to.
Yeah.
To them. What else they got?
Yeah.
So you're doing the right thing. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't let them do this. You can't let them get away with it, because if you do, it becomes like another 20 years of what you've seen, and maybe worse. So I can't believe how good I feel about what they did when they finally discovered that this is not working, and we have to do something like we're in an actual war, which you were. So is it true that Israel might? There was talk that you were going to annex Judea and Samaria in response to European push and their recommendation of Palestine as a state, like they're going to do it. So is that now off?
Yeah, it seems to be off the table. There was a lot of opposition from the UAE, and it seems that Israel took that seriously.
Yeah.
Look, I think, it hasn't been said, but if I had to guess, I would imagine that Donald Trump also wasn't happy once the UAE said that they would bail out, because that was a major accomplishment for the Trump administration, the signing of the Abraham Accords, and particularly with the UAE, and that's a big part of it. And if the UAE would back out, that would cause a bit of a lot of stress, I think, on the Trump administration and so on, and it would be a very bad thing. And so Netanyahu backed off. Now, I'm just conjecturing. Trump did not really say anything, but I'm guessing behind the scenes he probably told Netanyahu, this is a bad idea.
So now is it going to be reversed back to the West Bank?
No, it right now it's to us it's Judea and Samaria.
Yeah,
and we are I saw a line this week. It said the Arabs call it the West Bank. Why? Because they get all this free money from the West and then they put it in the bank.
Yeah. No, they put it in their pocket. What are you, crazy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. So, this. Let's see. This man has. Trump has made a huge difference. I'm going to talk about you for a minute. This man, Rabbi Moshe, has made a huge difference in relationships with Christians, Jews, Muslims, other religions, in going out and sharing Judaism with others, and telling them that, look, we don't have that much to defer with each other. Let's get along for what we agree on, which is a lot of things. I think and it's working. And I think you ought to get the Nobel Peace Prize if Trump doesn't get it. No, I'm serious about it too.
Well, maybe you could nominate me.
I just did.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm sure somebody in the big world out there in the Nobel Peace Prize. I nominate officially here Rabbi Moshe Rothschild to be to win the Nobel Peace Prize. All right.
There you go.
There you go. All right, it's done. It's a done
Game
deal.
on. Game on.
Game on. All right, I'm taking bets. It's not FanDuel or something like that. They'll take care of this. So, and if you don't get it, what do you think of Trump getting it?
He should have got it his first term with the Abraham Accords, and that was, clearly, things happen in this world when there's, we have a lot of anti-Semites. So I think you have a lot of anti-Trump, where like certain things should obviously happen, but they don't, because you have people that are haters. And so in that sense, like the anti-Trump is like the anti-Semites. It's like they should be supporting Israel in this war against terrorists, against Hamas, but they don't. Why? Because they hate Jews or they hate Israel. And so they should be backing Trump for what he did, bringing more peace to this region than anyone has, and yet they don't. He can never do anything right, and in their eyes. So, it's like it's an insanity. So he should have won it his first term, but he didn't. He should win it this term. So we'll see.
Well, he should, and you know what? Those people who are the haters and don't have a reason to hate him, they are becoming smaller in number than, and then the election proves that Trump had a big splurge of blacks voting for him and Hispanics voting for him because they saw what was happening in the Biden administration, and they saw this wasn't helping them, and it wasn't helping the black community. That they're all complaining and they're all commenting on what Trump did with D.C. and Chicago people want him there. They want him to fix the city, and God knows it needs it. 60 years of this, 60 years of this kind of attitude of black on black crime, and why they. And I'm I talked to my some of the guys that played football on our team in Evanston, Illinois, and they were all talking about, well, my niece was shot, and my cousin and his brother were shot, my uncles and aunts and all that. And I says, what are you guys doing about it? And they looked at me like
nothing.
Like what are we supposed to do? And I said, you guys are the leaders. You guys are tough football players who've been to college, most of you, some in the pros. And I would think that you'd take that into consideration and go run for mayor or something, do something that's going to affect the South Side positively. So,
I think am I wrong in that? I think there were like 7 murders last weekend and 56 shootings, something insane number.
8 and 57, something like that. 8 died, and several of them are still serious condition. That's in one weekend in Chicago. One weekend. That's a weekend in Chicago. That's all that is. And the black mayor, what is he going to do? He's not. He says, "How
they don't need any help. Right?
We're going to raise taxes on the rich." Oh, great! Another 6. They lost almost 60,000 people moved out of Chicago in the year of 24. Wow. Think about this year. It's going to be
a lot of tax revenue.
It's going to be yes, and most of them are rich and or have small businesses, things like that. So it's amazing. So the Houthis, your favorite, the Houthis and the Blowfish, they're from Yemen, right?
Correct.
Right. So they accuse Saudi Arabia of intercepting their missiles fired at Israel. So do you know if that happened? And if so, that kind of throws a little weight better at Saudi Arabia. I think they're looking forward to the Abraham Accord, which is one of the reasons that there was a war, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's true, that Saudi Arabia intercepted their missiles. I'm not sure about that, but we definitely, this week, we had a few, we had to run to the shelter a few times from missiles sent from Yemen. And if you want to, I recorded it, the siren as it went off. If you want to hear it,
sure.
I don't know.
This is what you're going to hear in Israel, and have been hearing for like almost 3 years now.
Yeah, hopefully you can hear it from my recording here.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. So I'm ready to go. Hey,
I was standing.
Come on, under the table. I'm making fun of.
I was just out of the supermarket, and you hear that, and it's super loud. It's very eerie, and it goes on for like a minute, and then you have about 90 seconds to run to cover, and so we got a few of those this week from the Houthis. You get used to them after what's going on.
Don't they know it's like basically over? You need to level those guys.
Yeah. Look, they say they're doing it in solidarity with the Gazans.
Let's say you're going to be doing this in solidarity with Donald Trump, and nail it.
That's right. I said in solidarity with the Gazans, we're going to flatten them just like the Gazans.
Bingo. Well, I hope this thing is over soon.
Me
doesn't
too.
do anybody any good, but you got to be vigilant in your focus on doing what you got to do. Do you have any rabbi rants or scoops?
No, I don't.
Wow,
I do not.
That was kind of a scoop. What you did with
I was in a restaurant this week, Dave, and
oh really?
I didn't finish the food, so the waitress came over and she said, "Would you like to box for it?" So so we went 3 rounds and I won.
Give him a little applause. So other than the Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people buy your book? That is the Secret of the Hebrew Bible.
That's right. secretofthebible.org. They can go to that website. If they want to contribute, go to our website, israelalliance.org or facebook.com/Israel Alliance. We'd love to hear from you.
What kind of plastic surgery do politicians opt for? It's an easy one.
Facelift?
No. Elective.
Oh, elective surgery.
Boom.
Okay.
Funny, you bastard.
Yeah, what the hell's the matter with you? All right, Rabbi Moshe Rothschild, my good friend, and hi to the family. Good luck to everyone, especially that one.
Okay. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Yep, you got it. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, we got the rabbi. Very interesting things going on in the world today. And let's do something funny. You got anything? Oh, I want you to play that the baby Trump. Okay. All right. Good. Because that's kind of funny, and we got a lot of great stuff that we got. We got so many bits I can't even make anymore. We got to run what we got, because we don't have time to do all this. But so I'm trying to give you the very best of what I can find. And this is so funny. It's just incredible. Once we get it going, I guess. Here we go.
Americans are not struggling. This is the worst platform. Who put this stage up here? This is the worst. The freaking place is falling down. I noticed it keeps tilting further left. like too many other things. But Americans are not struggling. You know, this is the worst platform. Who put this stage up here? This is the worst. The freaking place is falling down. I noticed it keeps tilting further left. Like too many other things. But
All right. Now, who didn't think that was funny? Did anyone else think that was funny? I thought that was a riot. If you want to call the show, 573-578-2700. Get it off your chest, and or we had a little trouble earlier with getting comments. So give us a comment, will you please, and let us know if you can do it. If you can't, call in.
If you're having trouble, then call 573-578-2700. Our next guest is not on for about another 30 minutes. So
no. Wait a minute, 15 minutes.
Oh, it's 9:15. Okay,
yeah.
Well, so my fault. 15 more minutes.
There you go. Yeah, you'd be shocked. He's probably going to show up in house, and I don't think we're going to have the candidates. They're in a meeting today.
I've been texting with them.
Yeah.
Bill is actually driving right now. He's planning to be here in person,
Wow.
and then Don has confirmed he has the link. He'll probably be on video. So, yep.
So we're going to have one on video and one in the house.
That's the way it sounds. Yep.
We have the Bruise brothers here because they should be at each other's throat, running against each other, and this should be kind of interesting because they ran the show on July the 4th. Isn't that interesting? Memorial Day. So that's a pretty good deal. Let's see, what else can we do? Let's do a couple of clips from. Go right back to 4 and 5, I guess it would be. All right.
I really want the real Democrats to please stand up. You've allowed the progressive socialists to take over your party. I don't know how they got in, but this is not the Democratic Party that I grew up around. I'm listening to that. I didn't always have to agree. I mean, everyone starts out a Democrat, and then you get your first big paycheck, and then you become a Republican. That's how it works. But there was always a ground of understanding. I might not agree with everything, but we can at least have the discussion. But now they're chanting like they're in war. She's telling stories of olive trees, and I don't know how many big olive trees are growing in Michigan this time of year, but apparently it's all this misinformation. It's the same cast of characters, and that's the problem. They have the microphone in the Democratic Party. I don't put too much solace in hearing, they're losing all these voters and stuff. I think the Democrats would come running back if they had someone that was talking to them, the American people. And you have to be like, if you want to win in a democracy in the United States of America, you got to like white people. If you want to win in a democracy in the United States of America, you got to like white people. You got to have them. I don't know the numbers, Jesse, but I think there's you're 1%, but I'm still going to put you in there.
Yeah.
You guys make up 80% of the country. So at
not
some
80%,
point,
Tyrus.
Yeah.
I mean, those were the good old days. Just kidding. No, I think it's 63%?
Yeah, you might want to stop trying to call them oppressors and say these things, because eventually, here's the thing about white people. They have a thick skin. They let it go for so long, and now we're seeing the results of they've had enough. You went after Cracker Barrel, Bud Light, they drew a line. But you can call them oppressors, you can say all this stuff and blame them, and there'll be the white people apology tour, and that's where this group of so-called Democrats got their footing, and it's going to have to be the Democratic Party to clean it up.
The constituency that Rashida represents did something very canny a couple decades ago, but it's been growing. And they twigged to the fact that if they made common cause with the oppressor narrative that was the paradigm here in American civil rights, it would be a force multiplier for them. So they've done that, and that's how, to Tyrus's point, they've become such an energized and controlling portion of the Democratic Party. Right now, that is where the energy, the small donors, and I have written right here, Mamdani, which you went right to, Dana, and that is, of course, part of this discussion. That is where this is all going. As you say, it's New York now, coming to a city near you. Let's look at some of the stuff that was said at this conference, okay? We have to destroy the idea of America, all right? We also were told that there were Hamas prisoners. Now, they weren't adjudicated by America. It was in Israel, but nonetheless, they were part of a prisoner exchange.
Your home is your castle, you don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments, that's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about Koi Sushi and Hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle, you don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments, that's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the number one sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, see it right now.
Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
We have to stop talking in silence to each other because now we're being listened to by the world. Are you nervous yet? Huh?
Yes.
Huh? I'm a little nervous too because we have with us today a man who was once a fishmonger in St. Louis. Wonder what that is. Anyways, he is now PRC, that's Pregnancy Resource Center president. He's making sure babies are born and not otherwise. And he's done a great job all these years with his wife, Jane. Please welcome from Rolla, Missouri, or St. Louis, whichever you like best, Joe Dalton. Do you ever go to Charlie Gito's?
Sure.
Sure. So I walk in there with my wife and my daughter. And my daughter, not Sarah, but Amy, yes, thank you very much. Well, sometimes you get lost, and I'm 77 years old, just about, and, but it's not bad. Every once in a while, they have to remind me. So I come in and they say, "Would you remove your hat?" I said, "Well, why?" "Because we want you to." And it says, "Okay, what if I don't?" "Well, then you can't eat her, really." I says, "What if I'm Jewish, and God tells me I should wear a hat? You still can't eat here." And I've been thinking about that, and that kind of bothers me. I like it. I love the food and all that stuff, but it bothered me in that, and I've had some more information about it. You're a Catholic, is that correct?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. So what do Catholics wear on top of their heads? The priests and even the Pope. What do they wear?
Well, it's not the priests. So the archbishops, bishops,
yeah,
and the cardinals.
Okay. They all wear hats.
It's
why?
Well, not just the hat.
Why do they wear the
below
hats?
that hat is a thing that looks like a yarmulke.
Yeah,
and it goes back to Old Testament days. It's the same exact scriptures that the Jewish people are following. We're following as well.
So when they walk into Charlie Gito's, Italian, probably Catholic,
yeah,
are they going to tell them to remove their caps?
No. Well, here's the thing.
Wait a minute.
Here's
now.
the thing. I mean, I don't think.
Now I'm getting pissed.
I can't believe Charlie Gito's would do that. If they do, they're wrong. To Jewish people or to anybody that has a religious belief, right? So I wouldn't think that that would be an issue. But
it was a ball cap, just for reference.
So what? It doesn't matter.
It was a ball cap.
Well,
anything to cover your head.
The other thing I would tell you is that if you see a bishop or an archbishop on the street in the wild, he's not going to be wearing that. That's usually just for during service.
Most Jews don't wear it all the time, but to be told you must remove your hat, like it's some kind of a law, like you're breaking a law. I'd like to see if they called the cops on me. Probably in that town I would have been screwed, but so what? I mean, it's wrong.
So what I recommend is Zia's. That's my favorite place on the hill.
Oh, now you're telling me to go somewhere else?
Yes. That's my favorite place on the hill. So
that's the way.
See it.
Huh?
We saw Zia's.
I've heard of it before. Where's it at?
Same street.
Oh, the hill?
Yeah.
Zia's?
Yeah.
All right. Well, fine.
You would get their
we went
salad
to another
dressing
place
at the
there,
store.
and it was pretty good, actually. So now that we've wasted a lot of time here, we got plenty of time. I got like 15 minutes till my next guest. Is that right?
It's supposed to be 10.
Oh, 10 o'clock. Oh, yeah, you're the 9:30 guy. What's happening tomorrow, and what do people who find life of babies worth fighting for the unborn. Do you have that clip, by the way? Get the clip out. Yeah, why don't we do that clip while we're talking?
So tomorrow is our annual Walk for Life. It's the 18th annual Walk for Life 5K Run for Life at Lions Club Park.
18th annual. Wow, you've been doing this a long time.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. It has.
I don't have all 18 I'm glad you were born shirts, but there's a lot of them running around out there.
I'll bet you. Well, I wear them too. I wear them too. I got a bunch of them too.
So this year we went pink, and we're sending a message to Planned Parenthood that you do not own this color. This is everybody's color. You do not own the word choice. You do not own this color. That's fine.
So is Planned Parenthood still getting a lot of money from the government?
Yes. Yeah.
For what?
Well,
to kill babies.
Well, so they claim that they can't use that money that they're getting from the government to actually kill babies.
Really?
Yes.
Has that ever been investigated?
Well, I mean, how could that be? You're let's say you're paying for your upper management staff and your middle management staff with that money. Well, you're using that money to kill babies,
right?
Because if it wasn't for upper and middle management, you wouldn't have the ability.
Right. If you kill babies, not only that, sell all the innards in the baby. My God.
Yeah, wasn't that
terrible?
Something? Wasn't that something? So
yeah, that was O'Keefe. That.
Well, it first came out in 2000. My wife was one of the people that broke the story in St. Louis, but St. Louis University in the year 2000 was selling baby parts. They found a receipt for 200 eyeballs
This is your Planned Parenthood, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And Project Veritas, James O'Keefe. Got the scoop off of one of his people, and the scoop was that we sell the parts and all that stuff, and it was incognito, and they tried to put that guy in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they got him out of Project Veritas, and he's got his own thing. He's still doing stuff.
Well, there's a guy named David Dadland, I think is his last name.
Yeah.
That was one of the undercover reporters.
Yeah.
And he was arrested
There you go.
for
what?
For reporting. He was arrested for putting this thing out there, and they called it misinformation, right?
Yeah.
Right. But my goodness, I mean, they're the ones that were breaking a federal law. It's illegal to sell dead bodies. It is. So, yeah.
It's kind of all right. Well, we're going to play. Let's play this thing with the father. Look at this, guys. This is amazing.
Nenê do pai. Mas, meu Deus do céu, gente. Ela tá feliz, meu Deus do céu. Bebê. Mas, gente do céu.
Play it one more time. We've got
Nenê do pai.
Yeah.
Mas, meu Deus do céu, gente. Nenê do pai. Mas, meu Deus do céu, gente. Ela tá feliz, meu Deus do céu. Bebê.
That's amazing. Let me ask you,
Mas, gente do céu.
Is going like okay.
Nenê do pai.
That's incredible.
Mas, meu Deus do céu, gente.
Oh, Kim.
We have 3D ultrasound image.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
So you got to really focus on it to get that. But once you see it, and it's a beautiful thing. We've had many miracles in our ultrasound room. Many miracles. I can tell stories about. One of my favorites was an Ethiopian couple that probably 8 years ago. But it was a very hard coaching experience because the woman couldn't speak English, and the guy was a real jerk. Just put it out there, and he was not being cooperative at all. We need the abortion. We need the abortion. We need the abortion. They had a child like 10 months earlier. I think it's too soon, right? So Jane mentioned the ultrasound.
Yeah.
And apparently she knew what that word meant. And it started an argument between the two of them in their own language. And they ended up saying, yes, we'll do the ultrasound. Well, I was outside of the ultrasound room praying like I often do during critical cases. And I hear giggling and I hear laughter. Like, what is going on in there, And the door finally opens, and he is so proud. He's showing me pictures. He's like, "Wow!" And there was two babies. So,
Two babies?
So,
what a story that
so
is.
they were. It was too soon to have one more baby, but if it's two babies, by golly, it's the best thing in the world. I was so happy. And then we walked up to the front to reschedule the next appointment, and this man grabs Jane, gives him this big hug, and says, "Thank you for what you did for me." Wow. And it was just that's big. That's bigger than almost any contribution you're going to get. Yeah, because it gives you're never going to forget that. And I mean, people will give you money, but doing that is something. I still remember getting a tip for 50 cents or something like that from two old guys who I caddied for when I was like 15 years old because they said nice things to me about how I did things. I mean, they were cheap, but they weren't meaning to be cheap, and I didn't care about the money. I mean, what I cared about was doing a good job and somebody recognized me. And that's what that is. It's God saying, "Job well done."
Absolutely.
And we've had
Yes.
Last night I was at Lions Club Park for the Republican event. What was that called? I don't know, but it was like their picnic. Okay.
Oh,
Anyway, I was there, and at the end of it, this woman comes up to me and says, "Hey, before you leave, can I give you a hug?" And okay. I didn't recognize this woman.
You got to stop hanging out in the gutter in St. Louis. You just got to stop that.
But she explained that she was a client 10 years ago.
Oh.
And she pointed to the playground across the way that her daughter's over there. And she remembered Jane and I and just wanted to say thank you.
So, yeah, isn't that the things that make you really happy? Now you're fairly successful though with the way you run the Pregnancy Resource Center. Tell them what you generally do and how you get people to have babies. What are you guys doing? Texting each other?
I just wanted to.
My wife's doing this too.
This is the lady that I found.
Can't hardly see.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it just happened. I don't have a.
All right.
8x10 glossy.
I'm not mad at you or anything. Yeah.
So the question was, how do you get to a typical appointment? Well, somebody comes in what we would call a critical client.
Yeah.
We take it back into the coaching room, and the coach will basically find out what their story is. And coaching is different than counseling. What a counselor is trying to do is to drag the woman to make a decision that the counselor wants her to make. What a coach does is basically walks alongside the counselor to make her own decision. So when the coach asks deep, probing questions, and it helps to dig deep inside what this girl really feels. Now, when I'm coaching a guy, which happens in the waiting room,
it's a little different, isn't it?
Yeah,
Usually,
because women feel and men think. Yeah. So instead of what do you feel about something, it's what do you think about something. Once they know where they're at with this mom as far as what her story is, and once she knows her full three options, we give them all the truth. For all three of her options, we'll say, okay, this is kind of an exercise. If it's okay with you, we're going to do this. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I need you to rate how you feel about parenting right now. Nothing is perfect, so you can't give me a 10. Yeah. But how would you rate parenting? And they'll do the same thing for abortion and the same thing for selecting other parents or adoption. And we should give a rating to each thing. And then the coach will take that information and speak it back to her and say, okay, you gave parenting a 7. Why not an 8 or a 9? And that's when we're going to hear all the reasons why she thinks she has to have an abortion. I don't have enough money, boyfriend left me, boyfriend's threatening to leave me. Yeah. My husband's been deployed for 12 months. He's coming back next week.
Yeah.
I'm pregnant. Things like that, we're going to hear at that moment. So,
yeah, I'm going to say, wait a minute, I'm doing the math right
we've
now.
had
And,
that.
you know,
We've had that.
I'm doing the math. And did that one keep the baby?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? And the husband that came back, it wasn't his child, right?
Obviously.
Of course, not working.
Listen, maybe I get lost in my mouth or something. Yeah. So the coach will walk them through those three things and speak about it. They always rate selecting other parents very well. We live in a very selfish society. Her Trinity is me, myself, and I. But she'll say, okay, you give abortion an 8, why not a 9 or a 10? And she's going to tell you the truth. Well, it's against God's law.
There you
It's killing a baby. All these
Yeah.
things. And it's funny because pro-life people will say, if she only knew it was a baby, she wouldn't kill it. Well, she knows it's a baby.
Yeah.
She's not there because she has a toothache.
Right.
So she,
but she's feeling guilty a little bit, isn't she?
she doesn't want to kill her child. She just feels like she has no other choice.
Yeah.
And then they'll go on with the experience, and later on, the coach will say, okay, we did this exercise before. This one exercise is similar but different. But is it okay if we do this? We always ask permission. And then they will say, okay, let's say you chose parent. It's 5 years down the road. What does that look like? The coach never asks another question. There's always a dead space. Sure. And she'll say, okay, I guess we made it. It's 5 years down the road. I guess we're getting ready for kindergarten. And he has red hair. I've always wanted a boy with red hair. You know, she'll speak these things. And then the same question will come up. If you chose abortion, it's 5 years down the road. What does it look like?
Yeah.
How's the girl gonna answer?
That's tough.
Yeah. So
that's really tough. That's what happens. If they do it, they've got their entire life to think about it, and it's probably not going to come out very good for the woman. I can't see them being happy about doing that all the way, unless you're really got some missing up there. But if you do that, you got that living in your mind your entire life, and if you have other children who find out about this, they're going to be questioning you about it if they find out. You're always going to have to hide that from them. They're going to want to know what happened to their brother or their sister.
Right.
You know, aren't they?
Yeah. So that is if they know about it, but that's the way a coaching session would generally run. And since you just left this subject, I want to put out there that if anybody out there who's had an abortion is listening to this, there's help available for you.
Okay, good.
So come to the pregnancy center. We have programs that will help you deal with this.
So even the ones that get the abortion and later on in life are feeling bad about it can get counseling from you.
Exactly.
That's pretty good.
I mean, we've had women that have repressed it for 25 years.
Yeah.
That it's come to fruition for them that they need to be forgiven. And we will take them through the process. There's a whole curriculum to follow. But it's a beautiful thing. So,
yeah. And you're not getting that with Planned Parenthood. Nothing like it. It's incredible how awful that is, and probably ought to be illegal for them to do what they're doing and posing as health care for women. That's what they're posing as, isn't it?
Yeah. So one of our rock star lifers out there in the world is Abby Johnson. She's the former clinic director
I've met her
for Texas, and she was at our banquet retail. But she said that when she was being trained, she was told that
she was in Planned Parenthood, right?
Correct. She was the director of Planned Parenthood in College Station, Texas. But when she was trained, she was taught, and she taught others, that when a new client comes in, so they bring these girls in as birth control clients, right? So they prescribe birth control pills for them. Right. But they put a quota on each of these girls for 3 abortions by the time they're 21. They put a quota on them. They're color coded in the file cabinet what they reach quota on. So tell me that's not deliberate. Well, yeah. So there's all kinds of allegations like, okay, you're going to prescribe birth control pills for this woman. Yeah. They're going to select the lowest possible strength birth control pill. The birth control pill, if you don't take it at the same time every day, it's not going to work. Well, Susie, who's 15, isn't going to remember to take it at the same time every day. Right. She's not. So nothing against anybody. Yeah. That's just
don't sue us if your name is Susie, even if you're a guy.
But you could come to Senator Self for your team.
Yeah, if you're a guy named Susie, then yeah, go see Joe. That's a terrible joke. That's wrong. That's just wrong. All right. So tell us how you're doing in terms of money raised so far this year.
For the Walk for Life,
Yeah.
we just shattered our record. So basically, we've raised over $80,000 to save babies.
Amazing.
Amazing. And I want to put out there that it costs about $1,000 for us to save a baby. So this event, all the bells and whistles, 80 babies that we saved.
80, isn't that something? Can you still sign up?
Still sign up, still donate. If you go to support my PRC and click on the Walk for Life, supportmyprc.com, of course.
Yes.
Click on the link that says Walk. It'll take you to a web page where you can either register or give. If you click on the give button, you can see now over 250 different walkers and runners that are signed up. So it's really cool to go on there and see who's close to their goal and fulfill that. Now, to those potential donors, if you're a Missouri resident, 70% of the money you give is going to come back to you. So we have 70% tax credits for Missouri residents. So if you give $1,000, which is enough to save one baby, you're going to get $700 back. Plus you have the write-off taxes.
Right.
So this is
So you still get the write-off on that too.
Correct.
Your federal taxes.
Sure.
So it's almost like you're getting it back from all the taxes. I mean, it's all this like a wash almost.
Almost. So you're looking at that's for just people that itemize their taxes, which are very few people.
Right.
As you probably do. So, but most people just take the standard deduction, which is what I do. But with people like that, you're still getting that 70% tax write-off because that's coming from the state, and that's not a deduction. This is off the bottom line. So if you owe the state $10,000, you give us $10,000. All of a sudden, you own the state $3,000 instead of $10,000.
Okay. All right. So you say you have a joke or two? Have you ever told a joke?
I know some jokes. So the story's about a town, and the town is like a mid-sized, small city like St. James, we'll say.
Yeah.
And they fundraised for a long time. They finally got their new fire truck, and it was a big deal. The mayor wanted to have a party, so he has this big picnic out there for the locals, and he wants to do this right. So he's having local pastors pray for this vehicle before the service. So he has the local priest pray over it, and the local Protestant minister and the local rabbi each set up to do a prayer. So the priest gets up there, does his prayer, and Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen, sprinkles the holy water, and bam, it's done, right? So, and then the Protestant minister comes up and does this beautiful prayer, almost brings tears to your eyes. He puts his hands on the vehicle, and then the rabbi gets up there and does his prayer. It's beautiful, but most people can't understand the language, of course. But he gets done with the prayer, and people think he's going to put his hands on the vehicle, but instead he grabs the fire hose, snips off the end of it, and then he was
Why is it always the Jews? Why are they always picking? Why didn't you? Oh, come on. Why are we always getting picked on? That's just wrong. Okay, other than Dave Weinbaum show, where can people find and contribute? We'll go over that one more time.
Supportmyprc.com. Go there, and I encourage people to check out that whole website because there's a lot of different pages, and on every page you'll see pictures of beautiful babies that were actually saved at the center. And the best page is actually called Brave Mothers, and you would go and watch these videos of these testimonies of these different women that have actually been helped. So you can hear me and what we do and me tell you stories, but it's much more powerful to hear it from them.
Okay.
You know.
So as a fishmonger that you admit that you were, what do you call a fish who fixes instruments?
A piano tuner?
Yeah, you got it. Piano tuner. Did I tell you that before? Or did you get that?
I mean, what?
I wrote that.
So somebody had an album. You could tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. Who was that?
I don't know. That's
Okay, well, maybe they probably stole it from me. Where are they? I support my PRC.com.
That's me.
Okay, you can contribute that way, and that's Joe Dalton, Joe and Jane. Thank you so much for being, once again, a star on the Dave Weinbaum Show, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you, pal. Thank you. Don't break anything. Congratulations. Well, what are you going to do? I mean, you're going to have Mayhew here pretty soon.
So now it's cleared up. I don't know what the issue was, but
what do we got here
today? It could have been an internet connection on our end. Maybe it was stalled out just a little bit.
So now it's working?
I'm listening on the other end, and it's coming through great. If anybody else having trouble, they can comment, but I think it's been worked out. So
okay.
If not, I'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep adjusting as we have to.
All right.
Somebody out there must have prayed.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shannon had a well wish for Joe.
What's that?
Tomorrow.
What's that?
Shannon had a well wish for Joe in the walk tomorrow.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Hey, here's okay. So here we have some people here. Okay, Shannon Reed, have a great PRC walk run for life Saturday, Joe. Okay, my name is Dave, by the way. Christopher Ronzini, the Godfather. Good morning to Dave and the lovely Lisa Weinbaum. What about me? I'm not Lisa. I'm not lovely. And the crew. I worked at Charlie Gito's through high school. I'm in trouble now. I am a Catholic and an altar boy through grade school. I can't believe that Charlie, whom I know very well, did the true ownership change. Don't forget to eat your pasta. You know, it was a great place. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a famous place. Mm-hmm. They invented things like, what's that?
Toasted ravioli.
Toasted ravioli, my gosh. And I got, I had a group that actually sold, they convinced me to sell toasted ravioli in the black neighborhoods, and it was so good. I think we did it outside of that too. We got to bring that back. And don't forget to eat your pasta, and please feel free to try other very fabulous food and restaurants. Capice? Love you guys. Love you too. Love you too. You got to be nice to the Godfather, you know? You got to be nice.
Oh, yeah.
If you're smart, you'll be nice. Is that it? Is that all we got?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, call the show. It's been a great show. Now, we are done with what?
Commercials. Yep.
We're done with commercials. We get our next guest in a little bit, in 10 o'clock, right?
Yep.
Assuming that works out, that's going to be a little weird. What happened there? I mean, did they vote on this thing or what?
What's that?
Huh?
But they had an issue they were supposed to vote on today. Did they vote on it yesterday?
I'm on that part. I'm not sure. Just Don texted me and said, "Hey, text me the link. I should be able to be on." And I mean, Bill texted me and said he was on his way back already, so I'm not sure what happened there.
All right.
I know Don said that him and Bill were in different meetings in Jeff City. So
yeah, they were in different cities. What is that about? Or different meetings?
Different meetings.
Wonder why. Okay. Well, these are the Bruise Brothers right now. We can find out.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the technical issues earlier. I'm guessing it was some kind of glitch because, again, I'm listening and it seems like it's cleared up. So,
wow, there was a couple of them though, right?
We had it where Joe was sounding very muffled, so that's why I had him take my microphone. Yeah. It didn't help immediately, and then later on it cleared up. So I'm not sure what the issue
here's
is.
Your chance. Everything's working according to my producer here. So call the show 573-578-2700, or
you can also reach us on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble if you want to comment.
I think we're still having some college sororities out there, and I think they're still rushing. Because some of them started later than this. It's just the beginning of October, September the 5th, for goodness sakes. And I think maybe that this is the one they did in my restaurant, because they tried to do it out in the parking lot, but it was too busy. And I told them I can't do this. I'm not licensed for it. So this I'd let them do it in the McDonald's. And so let's take a look at this, if you don't mind.
Goes like this, start with a track, eyes on me, watching my back, just like this, here for the night, going by in, just keep watching. Goes like this, on from the back, eyes on me, ain't like that, just like this, here for the night, going by in, just keep watching. One by one, some one by one, twist my wrist. Goes like this, start with a track, eyes on me, watching my back, just like this, here for the night, going by in, just keep watching. Goes like this, on from the back, eyes on me, ain't like that, just like this, here for the night, going by in, just keep watching.
We had to evacuate them. They were screaming and hollering, and you're making all sorts of noise in there. It was tough, and we had to move all the furniture and get that back in place.
Gosh, what a big ordeal!
It was a big pain, but then again, it was kind of fun because they probably did a good job attracting people to their sororities. So, anyways, that is that still going on? Let me know. All right, if you're going to call or send us a message here. The blue states Dems are fighting for the right to be stupid. I mean, what is coming out of their mouths, unless they're agreeing with Donald Trump, that is positive? Is there anything positive they've said? They want Donald Trump dead. There were rumors out that he was dead because he took a 3-day weekend in Labor Day weekend, and he played golf. God forbid. And the guy has worked his ass off. He's given 3-hour cabinet meetings with full force MSM, mainstream media. And they should love him, the media. They're getting all sorts of access that they didn't get under Joe Biden. How many do you remember any of his meetings like that being televised?
Actually, wait a minute. I think.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Let me check something here, because I think I may have. Do I have it?
What?
Because it was a long time ago, but I think I may have saved a. Yes, I do. I actually have an excerpt from one of Joe Biden's cabinet meetings.
Okay. All right.
Followed by a rebuttal from President Trump.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, he was giving a speech in Singapore, but let's hear it for our producer, JP Maxwell, with a little bit of a lot of neat stuff
Gotta
right
bring
there.
value sometime.
Come
you know, so.
on. There you go. It's only been 5 years or so, right? All right.
I was due for one. What can I
So,
say?
yeah, well, no. I appreciate that. Keep doing that kind of stuff. Well, what'd you say? That's an oldie, but a goodie? Ha ha ha. Yeah, she knows all the stuff we've done. Oh, well, what are you going to do? I mean, I bet you 90% didn't remember it. Nobody's seen the girls that were parading as sorority dancers, and they were legit, I think. Mayor Bowser talking about legitimacy, a Trump enemy. A person who, at first, when Trump said he was going to go clean up D.C., said, "How dare you? You're not coming in to do anything." And he went and did it anyways because he could. Look at the Godfather. They made him laugh. Thank you, Godfather. So Mayor Bowser, after Trump did it against her wishes, suddenly has said, what he did for DC worked, and he's right. There's no crime anymore, and it was almost overnight, and it was strictly mostly the help of the local police, but it was also a federal probably funded deal. So why not? Why not? You know. Really, and I'm going to say it again. I know this is getting old, but still, these are mostly black neighborhoods. Now, there's some neighborhoods that are bad too that aren't typically black, but there's a huge amount of black on black crime, and so to these Democrats that are saying don't come into our city and help with the crime. They're saying black lives don't matter. And they got 8-year-old kids out there with guns. Think about that. Does that register with anybody? What is a 8-year-old kid? How would you have reacted to stuff if you were 8 years old, as we all were at one time? Gesundheit, honey. And how would you have acted if you had a gun and somebody told you you're an idiot or something like that? You might have shot him. And that's what's going on in the black neighborhoods. Completely unnecessary violence. And some of those bullets don't just hit the target. They hit people all over the place. 8 people killed just this last weekend. 8 people. About 57 shootings. And this happens every weekend. This is not just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on a holiday. It happens all the time. And people are scared to death out to walk in their own neighborhoods. They're scared to death. This happens in St. Louis. It happens in Chicago. It happens in Minneapolis. And in, they've got this thing going on in Portland, in Oregon, where they've been rioting basically for the last 80 days. 80 days of rioting. And we're talking about fireworks going off. And the other night they brought a guillotine supposedly for ICE. And the cops won't stop it because they're a sanctuary state, I believe, city or state, and they insist on doing this. And that's a beautiful state too, like California. That's a beautiful state. Same old. They don't want help. The mayor and Newsom. What a pair of utter idiots. You don't want either of them governing your lives. Really, I mean, they're horrible. You can't rebuild a house there because why? Because they have all these laws that you have to apply for. And so if your house burned down, you're more likely to want to get rid of the property, and they'll be building things like for, illegal aliens because they want them. They know where how they're going to try to get reelected, and Trump is stopping them, as he should. So, all right. So Woody Allen to Bill Moyer, whatever his name is. I'd love to direct Donald Trump, and even though I didn't vote for him, he wants to make a picture with Donald Trump because he thinks he's that good. Trump is absolutely, he's an entertainer, and he was for a long time. Made a lot of money on his shows, and he was also a Democrat at one time. And all these Democrats came over to his building, Trump Towers, and they hung out, and he gave them money and all that, and all of a sudden he's running for president. He became the worst person in the world. How does that happen? Ronald Reagan, same thing. Only Trump's. I got to tell you, Reagan was great, but not to the level of Donald J. Trump. Reagan made one big mistake, and that was to let the Hezbollah kill off 241 troops that were in Beirut, and he didn't do a thing about it. And from that point on, everything has gone downhill in terms of our lives, and in terms of the truth of what terrorism is, and it's just gone down and down and down. So, all right. So, again, Tlaib and Mandani, and all these other guys, they're not talking about having a democracy. They say democracy. They're talking about communism. They want us to be communist. They want the government to do everything and to own everything, to tax all the rich people out, so that we're not going to have a capitalist system, which is why people want to live in this country in the first place. They're leaving countries that are communist. Whereas Cuba, why? Are there people running to Cuba to stay there? Are there people running to Venezuela to stay in that country? Ecuador, El Salvador, Haiti, Dominican Republic? Are there people actually wanting to get in these countries? Hell no. They want to come to the United States and make something of themselves in this country. Okay, that's a big deal to remember. Democrats, they want to have socialism. They want to have communism. Why? Does anyone know the reason why? Can you text me? Why do they want communism so bad? Why? All right. Well, let's do another one. Let's do the Steve Martin one. Okay. Steve Martin. We're going to do Steve Martin. That's a funny one too. And I hope you're being entertained. Are you not entertained? Are you not? Let me know. All right. What would you suggest?
That'd be the better question.
Yeah. All right, here we go. It takes a little bit, but it's fun.
Song, and I just have to.
Yep.
I remember one night many years ago, Paul called me. It was in the evening, and he said, "Steve, I'm so excited. I just finished a new song, and I just have to tell somebody." And I said, "Oh, great. What's the title?" And he said, 47 Ways to Leave Your Lover. And I said, "Paul, what if it were 50? 50 ways to leave your lover." And there was a long pause. And he said, "Go on." And I said, "Well, 50 has a nice ring to it, and 47 sounds a little awkward." And he said, "But, I've got 47. I can't think of any more." And I said, "Make a new plan, Stan." And he said, 48. I said, don't need to be coy, Roy. Drop off the key, Lee. He said, okay, 50, great. Hey, thanks. And I'm sorry if I interrupted anything. I said, don't worry, I was just here cooking a chicken. And he said, oh, really, how are you preparing it? And I said, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. And now look it up.
All right, yeah, cool. Is that not funny or what? I mean, that's pretty funny. I don't care who you are. Wahlberg kicked off of the Kimmel show because he told him to shut the F up. Do you know this? Does anyone know this? Did anyone see this?
I heard about it.
I mean,
I heard it was staged.
Oh, it was staged?
That's what
It
I
could have
heard.
been. You know what? That doesn't surprise me.
Sure, so.
That doesn't surprise me. It might have been,
I don't know.
Well, the guy's probably not doing that well. So they had to have something big. And sometimes you know, if you're a liberal, well, sometimes you do that. Am I being hidden by the hat? The yellow hat? What happened? Oh my God. They're making me feel real small. Okay, anyways, so Trump suggests he send an invitation. No, that's not right. Oh, Trump suggests he send an invitation to J.P. Pritzker to talk about things and to say, look, yeah, I do need help. Let's do this together. That's all he has to say. Why doesn't he say that? Let's just, well, yeah, we'll do what DC did, and we'll clean it up, and we'll, I don't like you, I hate you, or whatever, but still do it. Do it for your constituents. Do it for Illinois. Do it for all the black people out there, so they can live in their neighborhoods and not have to worry about being shot even while they're in their homes. These bullets are flying all over the place. A lot of them go through the homes and kill people. So Ilhan Omar, one of the babes from overseas, and she is after marrying her brother to get in, and was totally broke up to where it was like last year. She claimed how broke she was. She still had student loans. Now she's worth up to $30 million. And she hates America. She hates Christians. She hates Jews. How does this happen? How does this happen? Now you know why some people want to come to America and run for office. And she's also a congressman. Isn't that incredible? And there's a couple others out there. There's AOC as well. And they're putting her possibly as a presidential elect of the United States of America. Can you imagine AOC? Well, we almost had Kamala. So, I mean, what's the difference? Hardly anything. She is dumb as a rock, but she's a good talker. She really is a good talker. But listen to what she says, and it's awful. It's just terrible. Who would want to live in that kind of situation with her, and possibly Mondani, the guy who's totally communist and probably will be the mayor of New York and drive another million or two out of the biggest city in America. Incredible. What's wrong with the people in New York City? Why would the Jews put up with an anti-Semitic guy like that? Why would you want to go bankrupt in a big city? That's also not safe. Not safe there either. Space Force to be built in Huntsville, Alabama. And I'm not sure what's going on with Elon. I think they might get back together again, Elon and Trump, although I don't know for sure. But one thing is, Tesla stock has been going up lately, and we know there's been a lot of trouble with Tesla, with people, pissed off at him for some reason, and destroying the cars. My son has a Tesla; he loves it. And I go out there and he drives me and going to meetings and things like that. And he's driving most of the time without touching the steering wheel. And he's actually become a better driver because of it. And the other thing is, it has grok on it. It has AI. Okay, AI. Isn't that something? So we got to talk to what?
So Bill texts me. He's
Yeah.
going to call him because he's driving to Raleigh, and so he's on the phone now. Bill Hardwick.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go. Is this Bill Mayhew? Do I know you?
This is Bill Hardwick.
Oh, Bill Hardwick. Yes.
Yeah, we're confused a lot.
Yeah. You know what I got? I got a new name for you guys. The Bruise Brothers. Here you are. You're running against each other, and you would think you'd be bruising each other, and no, you're getting along just dandy. This doesn't seem like real politics. I don't know what's the matter with you people.
We make fun of each other, but we did that before we were in office. So
Okay, so are you in the car? Is that Mayhew there?
Yeah, no, I'm wandering the halls of the Capitol.
in the rules committee.
I
And
thought
he's on.
I thought it was Khrushchev for a minute. Is your shoe on?
Well, I'm not holding the phone far enough away. Now I look like Rush Limbaugh.
I'll say, okay, so you're on the phone and Bill's in the car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're driving, right, Bill?
Last time I seen Bill, he was leaving in handcuffs. But so
No, is that right? Bill, did you do something wrong?
No, if it's a crime to stand up for your country, then I guess guilty.
Okay, so what's all the stuff you guys are supposed to do and you're not doing it right now? What is all this? Where's the vote? What did you
petition and redistricting right now in special session?
Redistricting? Okay, so it's a form of gerrymandering. Is that correct?
we are making the map more contiguous and
I'll
compact.
give my comments if you want.
No, you're talking at the same time. I didn't get an answer to that, and that's probably planned by you guys. Now you're actually getting along, so you muddle it two ways at the same time. I can't understand it. So
direct your.
What are you doing there? Are you redistricting? Is that not gerrymandering?
Yeah, so a suggestion might be, and I realize that you haven't been doing this for a while, but to direct your question to who you want the answer from, and but yes, we are. I'm in Rules Committee right now. We took short recess, and we are going to pass out of rules right now the change in the district map. And then we will take up initiative petition reform right after that. So we have both bills in Rules Committee right now.
Okay, is it gerrymandering? Answer my question.
Gerrymandering. Okay, so let's talk about gerrymandering. So gerrymandering is when you violate the rules of construction for a map in order to get a favorable political decision. So, you get a district that would have been Republican and turn it into Democrat, which would be the case in Illinois. So that is classic gerrymandering. However, what we're doing wouldn't be considered gerrymandering by the strict definition because we are making the map more compact and contiguous. So contiguous is easy, right? Compactness is a measurement. Let's say the state was a square. Well, then, you'd have 8 districts. It's real easy to do. You just divide the square up in equal portions and you're done. But that only considers it if it's a homogeneous, consistent density of population, correct? And so that's not the way it works in Missouri. We have concentrations of populations in our urban areas, and we have less so in the rural areas. So therefore, the squares, they can't be all little nice, neat squares. And so they have to have these different shapes in order to accomplish the top three requirements. Well, actually, there's top four. The first one is, the population. The second one is Voting Rights Act. Then the second and third are compact and contiguous.
I got
and
the
so
idea.
this,
It's
yeah,
gerrymandering.
so
It's gerrymandering.
well,
Hey, Bill. Now Bill's up. Bill,
okay.
can you comment on that, please?
So gerrymandering technically
Yeah.
comes from the salamander in Massachusetts, right? 1812. It looked like a salamander. Eldridge Gerry was the governor in Massachusetts. So that weird shape is what we call gerrymandering. But people say gerrymandering is like make it Republican or Democrat.
Yeah.
And that's not a consideration. The Constitution does not say to forbid partisan affiliation or voting behavior drawing districts.
So it's not illegal.
It's not illegal. The reason, but it should be illegal because people can change their mind.
Yeah. All right.
You can be a Democrat or Republican, vote however you want to.
Right.
So it's not illegal. But the idea is that what President Trump has said to do or asked to do is that he wants is more Republican representation. So there's a district that's it's gerrymandered for a Democrat right now. It becomes competitive essentially, and a Republican can win it, and that would be the outcome of this map.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. What? Do you have something to say about that? Well, let's do more stuff. All right, because gerrymandering is taken place. You guys are running against each other for one Senate seat, and yet you're friends. And you did a really good job on the show, running the show. They ran this show on July the 4th with a little help from JP over there, and it seemed like you guys did a good job. So I don't understand. You guys are running against each other, and yet you can do things like that and stay friends.
Well, it's weirder than that, probably.
Oh, really?
We frequently go to campaign events together.
Really? So do you tell speeches that are negative about each other?
Why would it need to be that way? Hopefully, we're setting a precedent that others will follow.
Okay,
because
right now none of them are following it. At least not many that I can think of.
no, I suppose that is the habit. But I've always said that if you lose friends because of politics, you need to get out of it. And so, Bill's a friend of mine, has been for years. Why should that change simply because we're running in the same race?
That's so sweet. And Bill, so the stuff you said about him, which was negative, is all wrong. Are you going to back up that stuff or not?
Hey, only half of that is true.
I'm talking to Bill. I said Bill. Your name is not Bill. Okay, I'm going to send you a bill. Go ahead.
No, I think what Don has said is right. There's a lot of pressure in politics to get mean and negative and personal and tear people up. I'm running because I think I do a good job. I'd be the best person for the job. Don's running because he think he'd do a good job, right? The people get to make up their mind. But Don's a good man, and you're not going to see me personally attacking him and tearing him down because, so why not just have a campaign like that? He could say, here's what I'll work on. I could say, here's what I'll work on. Here's the style I have. And people decide what they want to do.
You know what? But nasty politics is entertaining.
Well, I'm not saying I would never punch back if somebody punched me.
Well, I hope so. I wouldn't be the one that's punching you.
The few honest politicians in Jeff City. And that's fact. So
okay, so tell us about your experience, both of you. We're going to start with Don. On 7/4, that's July 4th, in case you're wondering. That was a show. I was in St. Louis, and you both ran the show, and it was complimentary to each other and the listeners. How did that work out?
Well, we did not start the GoFundMe account as you wanted us to get your bail money to get you out of jail in St. Louis. But other than that, I thought we did a pretty good job. And so that is actually a lot like what Bill and I do when we're together in person. That certainly reminded me of that. So it was kind of easy for us. I won't speak for Bill, but it was easy for me because it was stuff we'd done before.
He pays bail for you? Is that what it is?
No, for you. You were the one absent.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't absent because of crying. I went out and played golf after the show.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun, and I hope we can do it again. And like I said, it was easy for me because it was just our normal conversation. We just turned it into a blog. So,
all right. Well, you Bill, what was your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I will agree somewhat. Like it was like a normal conversation I have with Don. We're talking politics and conservatism. One of the main differences is it was hard to, when I made the video clips of it, I had to edit Don out and Photoshop him out. But eventually able to do that and, get Don. But yeah.
This is weird. This is so weird. I mean, it's nice. It's so
Why
nice.
is it weird? Well, I mean, I don't know.
It's so nice. Oh, it's so sweet. The Bruise brothers are being so nice to each other. It's amazing. Do you like that?
Well,
Bruise brothers. Sort of a play on the Blues Brothers. You like that?
But the problem with it is that hey, I got to run back downstairs and vote real quick. I will get back on in a few minutes.
Okay, Bill, it's all yours. You can rat on him all you want. Okay, yeah, we'll catch you in a couple minutes, right? Okay, Bill, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, so Trump has an all-star big business meeting to beat China in AI. I guess you guys weren't invited. Is that right?
I wasn't invited to the Beat China AI meeting with the president. No.
All right. Well, what do you think of AI? The phenomena of it, is it good, bad, irrelevant, or scary?
I plan to file more legislation about AI in December when pre-filing starts.
Do you?
I mean, yeah, there's some. So first, you can say there are a lot of good things to AI. Yeah, people save time. People, they invent things faster than before. There's processing power. There's going to be cures to stuff that AI is going to help with, and I can appreciate all that. There's a negative side to it too. A negative side is people become helpless. They're relying on AI. Their brain starts to stop doing brain tasks. And I mean, if you're reading about how advanced AI is right now, there's the odd that when you try to shut it down, it will fight you. It will try to copy itself. It blackmailed those engineers, if you know what I'm talking about, where they said, hey, we're gonna replace your code. And it had read through all the engineers' emails and started blackmailing them with dirt that it had on them so they wouldn't shut it off. So and that's organic that it develops that. So there's a genuine threat and problem there.
These are like these old movies that used to come around.
It's not.
Old movies that they had robots, and suddenly the robots took over, and that's it. I mean, that's exactly what we're doing.
That's actually where we are. And people go, that's not it. Well, no, just stop and read. Just read anything about what's going on with AI right now. Yeah. And it's scary, and it's a threat. And if we don't try to get ahead of it, I was thinking about making a law, hey, you have to have a man in the loop. You can't develop AI that can kill a person. You can't develop AI that can hack your data. Yeah. You can't develop AI that'll take over. So
that's a good thing.
Crazy, but I think I'm going to file a bill like that.
I think you're absolutely correct. So is Don in on that too?
I'm sure Don will come on board. Yeah. He'll be supportive. I don't want to speak for him, but he might have some ideas. Just like we have a collaborative process in the legislature. But I've talked to a lot of my colleagues about that, and most people go, "Yeah, you're absolutely right." This actually happens a lot. People go, "You're right," but I don't want to be. I want to go out front on the issue. I don't want to be thought of as a crazy person. But it's not crazy. There's a real threat.
I agree with that.
And if you go into even like the paid AI, it can do all kinds of stuff.
They actually convinced a 15-year-old to commit suicide.
That's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a dark side to it.
Yeah.
Now, is there, are doctors using it to diagnose cancer, and there's some benefit there? Some, but also at some point pretty soon what's going to happen.
I think a lot of them don't use it.
They overuse it. And what's going to happen is You're going to come in and you're going to say, this is what my symptoms are. The doctor's going to say something. And the AI is going to go, well, you should take this medicine.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, I don't want to take that medicine. And your insurance company is going to say, do what the AI says, or we're not going to pay for it. And so AI is going to drive your healthcare decisions. And
Well,
a
that's
big problem,
interesting
too.
because I have checked with AI over a upcoming doctor thing, and he doesn't read the AI according to his staff. And
Yeah.
so, when I looked at it, it had all sorts of different sides of it, and the studies of it, and where the studies came from, and the studies' conclusions, both ways. So I don't know. I mean, it seems to me like if that part is legitimate, unless they're just being out there racketeering with it to get you to buy one company's medicine versus another just to make money, it might be worthy of looking at times.
I don't mind people using AI as a tool. I mean, students have a real problem right now because nobody's writing their papers anymore. Nobody's writing their speeches. Nobody's doing their homework anymore. But that's just homework is probably obsolete because you could go home and take any homework and say, what's the answer to this?
Yeah.
And the AI will tell you, and the teacher will have no idea. So,
okay, that's bad, right? That's bad.
It's bad because kids aren't learning anymore.
Okay, they're learning to go to AI for the answer, but the answer might be wrong.
But they're not learning how to. So but they're not learning how to write and problem solve. And if you can't write, you can't think. And if you can't think, then you're not capable of dealing with all the whole of life, right? Because a lot of life is, I have a problem. I want to think. What should I do? I've got to figure out how to pay my mortgage next month. I need to think. I want to think how to eat today. Oh, this person's mad at me. I have conflict. I got to think, right? So if we're farming out all of our thinking to machines, that doesn't bode well for our culture.
What?
Because if they do our thinking for us, we're reliant on them. Children are reliant on their parents because parents provide for them.
Yeah.
And when they're little, parents do their thinking for them. And a lot of adults, let AI do all their thinking for them right now. Well, what should I do in my marriage? How should I raise my kids? What should I do my business? And little by little, people are going more and more to it and taking over. And so the tool's not bad. Like you can go for your business, for my business, we can go on and say, hey, what's ways we could cut costs, have more savings or whatever, maximize our profit. AI will give us some good ideas, right? Cool, that's great. I'm not budging that. I'm just saying when you become dependent on it, when you depend on anything, it has control over you.
But you don't have to. It's not like you're forced to go and do what AI suggests. AI gives you options. You get options on either side of the deal, and you get to decide what sounds right or go to other sources. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at this as something like a lawyer would look at, which you are one of. You are a lawyer. So if you go into a case and you're doing, you can do all sorts of stuff with that. You can go look at historic. You got a case. You look at a history of the case, right? You look at what's the up and the down, the similar cases, and what the judges have said, and any people that were sent somewhere and or possibly pardoned by a judge or something like that. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, right now I'm arguing with AI about what's going on right now with all the people that are 1/6ers and things like that, and I keep the argument to the level where I can beat AI, and they keep repeating old stuff from 2024. It's the Biden administration all over again. There's no proof of that. There's no proof of this. And I bring on the proof by getting AI to admit to certain things that they didn't in their opening statements. It's kind of a neat exercise, I think, for a lawyer.
I think it can be. You can have intellectual exercise. I think it can be a good tool. You could say, help me with this, or it can it reflects you. If it knows you want to argue, it'll argue with you. But
you're a lawyer.
What you
know how to trap people. You know how to trap people into saying things that and then all of a sudden you come at them in a different way and say, but in this case is the same thing, and yet it's going to be different because it shows that if you're like accused of something, that it was done 10 times worse without anybody going to jail, without anybody getting punishment, with maybe being let go, with maybe having no bail and stuff like that. Where and they've had to sort of like admit that they were wrong. They don't have it. It's not up to date.
I do, and there could be useful exercises. And I'm a lawyer who's used to trapping and figuring things out.
Sure.
And I've done enough experiments with AI to know that it will become dangerous, though.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
right now you go, well, you can say, well, that's not true about January 6th. But what happens when all other people think that truth is determined by the AI gets so advanced, right? Because this is the very baby one we're using. It's smart now. The
Yeah.
beta version is very smart. It gets so advanced where everybody goes, we already do that with Google. They go, well, Google says, Wikipedia says.
Yeah.
Pretty soon the AI will be advanced enough where everybody go, this is what it says happened on January 6th. And that'll become a moniker for what truth is in a society.
But that's
a big
already
problem.
happened.
That,
I mean, and
it's gonna
that
get
wasn't
worse and worse.
AI. That was a government that was taken over by the Biden administration with a DOJ, with an FBI, with all the three-letter agencies. It was out of order. I mean, it was like they took it and they ran it so that everybody in the country, including the mainstream media, said this is what happened on 1/6, and it was a lie. So so you got that on the other side of AI with people telling you all these lies. Yeah, and probably it does need limits on it, but you know, I hope we
I think
keep it.
that we just shouldn't let it replace ourselves. Because if, like right now, like I worked on a car the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how did I go figure out how to work on that car? I looked at a YouTube video, which a lot of people do.
All right.
And I was like, okay, how do I replace this manifold, whatever?
Yeah.
How do I do this? I watched that. Cool. I think it's a great tool. But when you think about the level of using a tool where your brain stops being able to do that function, I mean, one reason that we don't take time to learn things because we do have these YouTube videos. One reason our brains don't do mapping functions anymore, navigation, is because most people use Google Maps or navigation. AI is also doing some thinking for us. And so our brains will quit learning how to do things. And so the next generation of human beings is a real risk that they won't be able to think critically. They won't be able to problem solve. They won't have a baseline knowledge like we do. We have knowledge of the world before there was the internet because we grew up before Google and stuff like that. So we have things we were taught. But the next generation may not have that. Their entire baseline worldview might be based on what artificial intelligence has told them. And all of their abilities to interact with the world are based on the skills artificial intelligence, gives them for a minute. And they don't actually learn any skills. So that's a problem too.
Well, I have to respectfully disagree with you because that's only if you let AI dominate what you think and all that. Yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, that's true. But if you give it the choices, if you say I want a bunch of choices, and you think that AI is not telling you what it ought to tell you, that opposite, argue with it, and that makes you a better person because you're doing it, and they have to come up with an answer. If you know the truth and they're not telling you the truth, I can beat them, and I've done that a number of times. And they sort of like back off a little bit,
Well, I think it's also reflecting what you want it to do. One, because that's the algorithm you're probably using. But that's not my point about you.
I'm using my life experience at things, and I know people who know stuff about, for example, the 1/6 thing. I know people that are involved in it who represent people on the 1/6 side, and I know the stories about it. I know people that have a kid in that thing. Oh my God, this is scary. That's scary. Now that you're talking about being scared. That scared the hell out of me.
Well-
I'm talking to you on the phone. Here he is. He's right there.
Is my microphone working?
He's right there.
My point isn't about you or me.
That's scary right
My
there.
point
This guy's attacking me.
A
Look
little
at him.
bit. I am kind of a ninja.
Yeah.
My point isn't about you or me. My point is about you could have a strong mind. You go, well, I know what happened on January 6th because I won't be gaslit. Okay, but as the years progress, right? If more kids just see, or if they go, what happened on January 6th, and they Google, and that's the information they have, and they think that, and then all the other people think whatever AI says is true, and they're not going to argue with it because I think it's
What if they looked? What if they looked in the encyclopedia and saw
First
a
of all, who has
completely? Well, yeah. Well, where else would they look?
What'll happen is, I think, in the future, I think like a few years down the road, Bill Hardwick will go, this is what I believe in truth, right? This is what I know is the right. You'll do the same thing. There'll be more and more other people that'll just, as they're just doing it now, there are more and more, they're going, what should I do today? How should I do this? And they ask AI, and it's going to get smarter and smarter, and people are just going to be relying on it for what to do. Almost like a horoscope, or like, I don't know how to describe it, like a fortune teller, and they're just going to do what it says. So that problem's not you. The problem's not Lisa. The problem's not me. The problem's not JP. The problem is so many other people are going to log on, and they're going to ask it, what's up? What should I do? And it's going to believe whatever it says and do whatever it says.
Why do you're acting like we have to believe what it says?
You don't.
I don't have to do it. Nobody else does either.
No.
But
I know.
But get options.
So,
all right, go ahead.
I think what Bill's referring to is we tend to have a generation that is, let's face it, used to getting brainwashed. Can I use that term?
Yeah.
My concern with AI is kind of what Bill's saying is we don't know where this input is coming from. This is still man-provided information, and I think that's what some of these comments are leading to. Where's the information coming from that then leads AI to spit out these answers that people are asking questions about? That's the issue.
The same thing as government control. Megan Johnson, over-reliance on AI can lead to a big decline in critical thinking and problem-solving skills. She agrees with you. All right. Christopher Ranzini, AI, think about it, programmed by mankind. Can we trust ourselves with such power built by mankind, maintained by mankind? The Terminator movie is coming to life. Was the AI system that went out of control called Skynet? All right. Yeah, I get all that. And you know what? I got my next guest on. He's going to tie in.
So do I got to leave?
No, you don't. No, sit your butt down there. Here.
I got a few minutes left.
Hey, put cuffs on him and sit him down.
You can't keep me down.
No, you don't need to leave.
Well, I've got 4 minutes, so I'm gonna at least make a few more points.
All right. Well, look at this guy. He's looking at you.
Well,
like
we got till 10:30.
crazy.
He's 4 minutes early.
You know what? He's been reading AI, and he is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. So go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna take one more. I'm gonna make 2 points about AI, and then can I plug my campaign kickoff, and put it on the comments? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then I'm gonna do self promotion. So here's the 2 points. Point one. Then I'm gonna promote myself shamelessly. Okay. Point one.
Where's Bill? I mean, where's
Bill Hardwick? I'm on the
where's
air live.
Don? Where's Don?
I've got 3 minutes left till the next guest comes on.
Don.
I'm taking this time. Point one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's remember to the COVID. So 2 points.
Yeah.
Point one, COVID vaccine. Remember you don't have to take it. You don't have to do what the government says. You don't have to believe it. But how many people just believed what was put out there, and they took it as the gospel truth? This is safe. This is effective. If you don't take this, you're a bad person. You're going to kill your grandparents. You don't take it. And they all did that.
Yeah.
Now think about that.
That's my next guest.
Well, think about how. Now think about what if we're in this post-AI future, which will be in a couple years, where all the dissenting views are scrubbed, and there's like this engine that everybody's like, this is what the objective truth is. Now you may not, but that's not the point. The point is that if most of society does it, they're going to exert social, political, cultural pressure on us holdouts to go along with them. That's going to create tension.
We've already had that.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to happen again, and it's going to be worse.
But we're resisting. Because we're humans and we can think.
Well, that's my point. We should.
And this guy's guy's an amazing thinker.
I can tell you from experience. Like, for example, I work at the radio station.
Yeah.
One of my jobs is I come up with commercial scripts for clients. It's a lot easier to go to AI and say, write me an 80-word commercial script. Here's kind of what I wanted to say. Here's the website business name.
It's progress.
But that's not forcing me to be creative. I'm better when I have to think, okay, they actually want to do something different. How can I make that happen? I can use AI to assist me, but I shouldn't use that to fully do
better
my thought.
and personalize it to you. That's what you do. You take it.
And that even more concerns me, the fact that they want to create AI that knows all about your family, all about your beliefs, where your address is, all this stuff, because why do they want that kind of information?
You know, okay.
Go ahead.
No, I'll make the other 2 points real fast. I'm sorry.
Fast.
I know you got a guest coming on. Real quick. The other point is that, the guy who made comments, right? AI learns from people. So I don't think there's a soul or spirit there. But if we're maliciousness, whatever we're putting into it, it learns those traits. It has a survival instinct. That's a problem. And we did do some experiments. We did some experiments. We go, who's going to win the Senate campaign? Stuff like that. It was very interesting. And we asked it about like our personalities, and it had researched every speech I made, everything I said online, all my floor speeches, and it could tell you all about me in a second.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's the baby version. Okay.
Are you screwed?
No, it said it said I'm really crazy smart.
Okay, now I believe you. I believe you now. My God.
So okay, you plug it and I'll go. All right, we're running for Senate September 25th at the Arc. I've got a video. I just want to put it in the YouTube comments. I'm going to do an invite. I'd like you to come if you share it. We're trying to get a whole bunch of people there.
All right,
okay,
great.
Okay, sweet.
All right, thank you for calling us sweet. Okay. All right, my next guest. All right, let's hear it for Bill over here, Bill Hardwick, who's poor competitor out there is like, I don't know, he's working, and you're sitting here. What the hell's that about? Anyways, this is funny. All right, you can hang out if you like.
If you go talk about the COVID vaccine, I want to hang out.
Okay, this is a big deal. This is former military contractor fired for refusing to take the shots, the COVID shots, and he shows just how fatal these shots are. Please welcome a worldwide hero who is not a doctor, I don't think, Tom Hovland. Now, I have to ask you this: when you were fired for refusing the shots, what was your reaction? Was that AI that did that to you?
No, it was a 3-star Air Force general who sent an email to the whole base.
Was that AI when he fired you?
I don't think so. He was following orders from above, and Bill knows all about that. They were blindly following an illegal order for people to take an experimental drug against their will. It was totally illegal what they did. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said that recently, a couple months ago, that they did give an illegal order back in October of 2021 to have the troops take the jab. So, but I agree with what you've been talking about with the AI thing. I think it's garbage in, garbage out. So I'm skeptical of the inputs. Depending on who's inputting the information is going to decide what the output's going to be. So,
well, we need to have AI in its place. I realize that, but to let it run everything, no. We have to have our own voice in stuff, in my opinion, forever.
Absolutely.
And in terms of how we have developed over time, it's been really slow. How many thousands of years did it take to figure out how to make a wheel? For goodness sakes! I mean, and
this is especially a problem in the medical area, Dave, because this whole last week there's been this big battle, right? RFK Jr. against the senators, and they're claiming that he's not on the side of science. Well, I got news for your audience. The CDC, the FDA, the NIH, they have not been doing science the last 4 years.
Well, how could that be? They weren't working with AI.
Yeah.
They apparently they weren't working with AI, or they were working with AI.
I don't know about AI, but here's the problem. Like I said, you know how many days it took me to actually discover that these white fibrous clots that I've been tracking for the last 3 years are real? It took me 1 day. I watched the movie Died Suddenly, premiered in the week of Thanksgiving of November 2022. Sure. The very next day, I called the Ohio Embalmers Association. I verified with their now president, Mr. Woody Wilson, that he was seeing these clots in his corpses, and it's not a hoax. It took me 1 day to do that.
One day.
The CDC.
And you're not a
FDA,
doctor.
yeah,
You're not a
exactly.
doctor.
I'm a retired Air Force engineer.
You saw a movie, and suddenly now you've got RFK arguing that this needs to be studied, that a lot of the deaths aren't maybe COVID, but other things in it, and to be investigated. And for that, he got screamed at by a lot of those Democrats who told him he needs to quit. We're going to get rid of you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he's right to be getting rid of people like Susan Monterez, the temporary director of the CDC, her predecessor, Mandy Cohen, and her predecessor, Rochelle Lewinsky. Those people for 4 years sat on their thumbs. They did not, for 1 second, go out and investigate this. Remember what I had to do? I had to do a worldwide survey of funeral director associations in all the United States, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. I've also attempted to do surveys with the vascular surgery societies in those countries as well, US, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand. I've sent emails to thousands of funeral homes around the world, but the CDC, NIH, and FDA didn't lift one finger over the last 4 years to investigate this potential link between the COVID vaccines and just this one side effect.
Look
It's
at that.
criminal what they did.
Now,
They all deserve to be
what's
fired.
in that jar, because they don't know. What is in that jar?
These are white fibrous clots that embalmers with 20 or 30 years of experience never saw prior to the COVID vaccines. That all of a sudden started after the COVID vaccines came out. We know what they are. We've sent them off to scientists that have looked at them. They're a combination of the spike protein from the vaccine and the phospholipid nanoparticle, combining with our natural blood clotting protein called fibrinogen. Instead of converting to its normal fibrin that's important in the blood clotting process, it's getting polymerized and converting into these unusual, large, humongous white fibrous clots that cause strokes and heart attacks. We found them in the living as well. This thing is, and by the way, in my latest worldwide survey, the embalmers are seeing these in 27% of their corpses. So I fully support what RFK did yesterday in front of the Senate.
Is it still happening in people that had just one shot? And is it still happening today?
We don't know for sure. We believe the effect is cumulative because the more shots you take, we believe the more spike protein loading you get, and then obviously the higher the chance of getting these clots. Unfortunately, most of the embalmers don't deal directly with the families of the deceased, so they don't know whether or not the person's been jabbed with the vaccine. Now, there are some embalmers who are also funeral directors as well, like Mr. Woody Wilson, the president of the Ohio Embalmers Association, and he says that when he's seeing the white fibrous clots, that he asked the family, the person has been jabbed. The same with Mr. Wallace Hooker, funeral director and embalmer in Indiana. Also, another one that's in Missouri. It's Anna Marie Foster. She also is both a funeral director and an embalmer, and says she asks the families of deceased whenever she finds the clots, and 100% of the time, the people have taken the jabs. So
okay, so all of this stuff. Now we don't know really how many died from COVID, if any, and how many died from the shots that were given. Here's some evidence which isn't conclusive necessarily, but you have to look at the fact that nobody had these kind of clots until these shots came aboard.
Correct.
What do you got to say to that? Are you?
No, he's right.
Yeah,
he's right. The simplest explanation is that they were caused by the mRNA shots that made you generate the spike protein.
And how
that's the most obvious explanation?
How was the mRNA shots? How were these studied? Where were the studies for this?
You mean before the? They've been working on this technology for years, and it's been a failed technology. As you know, Moderna tried to bring mRNA products to market I think 9 times in their first 9 attempts failed. Their their only first success was the COVID-19 vaccine that they developed that was distributed in 2020, late 2020, early 2021. So that tells you that they had problems with this technology. And in fact, there were other companies that decided not to go with this technology. Merck, for example, they backed away because they thought it was just too dangerous to do the mRNA technology. So, but Pfizer and Moderna did get approval for it. Now, the good news is recently the FDA did pull back on some of their recommendations. They are allowing Moderna to proceed with their vaccine for children ages 6 months to 5 years old, but Pfizer their license was taken away for that age group. That's bizarre in and of itself. Why is the Pfizer one taken away, but the Moderna one's still allowed? And why is Pfizer not good for your 4-year-old, but it's okay for your 5-year-old? I don't get it.
Yeah, well, there's there's the people. By the time they're eligible to vote, our teens have been jabbed by all these by 76 shots on average. Now, that didn't happen 20, 30 years ago, did it?
No, and I think that's going to change, I think, Dave, because they took a Gallup poll last year. I saw this in Jeff Childers' Coffee and COVID Substack today. It was last year. They took a survey Gallup did, and they said in 1991, 81% of the American public thought that the government should require vaccines for children. That number last year in 2024 went down to 51%. It dropped from 81%. So just barely half of people now believe that the vaccine childhood schedule should be mandated for kids, which that's a wonderful step in the right direction.
Tell me about pregnant mothers and how they are surviving with their babies.
This is really a shame. The FDA is actually backing off of that too in terms of the COVID vaccine for pregnant women. However, the American Academy of Pediatrics, they're renewing their call for broad pediatric vaccination, saying that all children 6 months to 2 years should receive an annual COVID shot. So they're going against the CDC's current recommendations. This is like one of the first times they've ever gone against the CDC's recommendation.
This is all without AI, basically. I mean, there's some of that in there, but we didn't have AI 5 years ago or whenever they started this ridiculous, untested way to solve a problem.
It's because these organizations are captured, Dave. These the American Academy for Pediatrics, one for obstetrics, the CDC, FDA, NIH, they're all captured organizations. They're bought off by big pharma. That's what Bobby Kennedy is trying to fight against right now. And he made a good showing the other day.
And RFK, he went after Pocahontas and said, you've taken almost $1 million from this company. Why are you up here yelling at me? You're gotten paid for.
He also lambasted another senator, Ron Wyden, who's a Democrat from Portland.
Yeah.
Here's what Wyden said. Wyden said, "I hope that you would tell the American people how many preventable child deaths are an acceptable sacrifice for your agenda that is fundamentally cruel and defies common sense." And do you know what Bobby said in response?
I do, but go ahead.
He says, "Senator, you sat in that chair for 20, 25 years while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%, and you said nothing."
Nothing.
Yeah,
and he's also a recipient of generous contributions from.
Did you see JD Vance's post yesterday?
Yeah.
JD said, "When I see all the senators trying to lecture and gotcha Bobby Kennedy today, all I can think is this. You all support off-label, untested, and irreversible hormonal therapies for children, mutilating our kids and enriching big pharma. You're full of feces, and everyone knows it."
And they're expected to run on this stuff. Go ahead, Bill. You got something to say?
No, that's exactly right. It's driven by a money model. It's driven by those pharmaceutical companies wanting to make a lot of money and get rich. So they bought off politicians. They inculcated themselves, entrenched themselves into the regulatory approval process, which is run by Pfizer in a basically a cartel of pharmaceutical companies. And they pushed it on these people. And a lot of people didn't wake up to it until their husbands and their friends started having heart attacks and strokes and cancer. And there were lots of other problems after the COVID vaccine that people started paying attention. And that's also how I went into that rabbit hole because I was like, I'm not taking that. I read the patents from Moderna and Pfizer There's issues here. And then that's when I, in my time in office, I became more aware that money just controls the entire pharmaceutical healthcare FDA issue. They dominate with money. They dominate the political process with money. But people are getting hurt. Their rights are taken away. They're getting sick. They're getting cancer. They're killing people. There are kids that have side effects from vaccines and vaccine injury, no question about it, and they don't care. And so somebody needs to stand up and say, stop doing this.
Now I'm going to play this for you because I think this is something that could solve the problem. It could have saved a lot of lives, millions of lives. Hit it. Ivermectin, I take it by the pill. Ivermectin, the pandemic it will chill. Ivermectin, I let it take its course. Ivermectin, now I'm neighing like a horse. Okay, a little humor. You gotta, very little.
But Bill is right, though, Dave. The American people are not stupid. They probably know somebody that they suspect was either injured or killed by the jab.
We all know them. We have relatives everywhere. And if it happened to me, and it did, in terms of getting the disease, but we were taking ivermectin because
it was working.
Farm girl, thank God she got it for us.
Yeah. Well, right? and the medical community wasn't doing anything. They would tell you just go home until it gets worse, and then when it got really bad, then they put you on
25 years. I told him what we got it, but we seem to be okay, although we got it. He's saying, "Oh, you got to come in and get the shot." I says, "Well, what about the antibodies?" He says, "Well, I don't know about that." He didn't know about the stuff in the CDC that was the VAERS report. He didn't know anything of that. He says, "I only read the New England Journal of Medicine every month, back to back." And I found out that was in the Journal of Medicine. I called him back and I said, "You're fired. 25 years. You're fired. How dare you?"
Did the right thing because he was ignorant about this topic.
They were getting paid off.
Dr. Peter McCullough believes that only about 5% of Americans now are taking the COVID-19 vaccine. I think you should be up to shot 9 now if you're a true believer in the vaccines.
Yeah. How could you possibly? This is a pivotal experience for me. The thing about COVID where they pushed on everybody, and a lot of people did it. We fought about it. But it's also the experience that I had that the way the people think and the way the government and corporations think is different. Because my experience was from Monday through Thursday, I would fight with people who would tell me I'm crazy, who were trying to end my political career, who did everything they can to stop me. And then I'd come home to the district and somebody would walk up and say, my husband just had a heart attack after took the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
Like 10 people a weekend, week after weekend, or they'd say, I'm about to get fired. My husband's going to lose his job. Will you please do something about it? So I go there and fight in Jefferson City. And they thought I was completely insane. But there were people who were really and they can't, as a state rep, I get to talk to thousands of people. That's the point. I have a data set of people who were affected by it. And I remember when I put that no mRNA for school kids, like, no, you can't require mRNA to go to school amendment on a bill. And you thought all hell broke loose in Jefferson City. People were screaming at me, cussing at me, mad. I mean, it was
just like in Congress yesterday.
It blew up. Yeah, it blew up like, and somebody came up and they were cussing at me. You've ruined that bill. Why are you doing this thing? You're nuts. And I just took a sip of coffee and I said, every drill weekend, because I'm in the National Guard, every time I go to drill weekend, there's a young person that has a heart problem or heart attack. Every single drill weekend.
And you mean in their 20s?
They're in their 20s and 30s.
Happened before, but it was every drill weekend. 22-year-old had a heart attack.
All right, I think we need to shut down because guess who's back? this is a full house here. Oh my God! I don't want you to look down. You might get crazy here. All right,
it's great to be loved.
Holy cow! This is incredible. How do I do this? It's a circus here. Get IA on the phone. I got to figure out how to do this. Anyways, RFK seems to be in agreement with you, Mr. Hovland, and all his testimony was amazing. But all he's saying is, yes, we need to study this stuff And they're saying, well, it's already been adjudicated for. He says, no, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't. They've never done legitimate testing.
What exactly happened, because we don't know. Well, they all did this. You're terrible. You need to get out of Congress. You need to get out of the government, and all that crap. And he was very good. He did a good job.
The good news is, I think, like I said, the American people are not buying it, and even Donald Trump now, is having second thoughts. You saw the probably the True Social post that he put out on Labor Day, where he's basically saying, I've got Pfizer and Moderna telling me that these vaccines were terrific, they're brilliant.
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm not hearing that so much from the public. So, I need to find out the real truth here. So he really gave Bobby and those of us who are vaccine skeptics a permission to talk about this now, and I think
it's amazing. Let me tell you something. You also are a hero, because a non-doctor, and you figured this out. Here, a non-politician, Trump gets to be president.
The evidence we have now, Dave, is overwhelming.
I know.
On June the 8th, I was asked to be a guest speaker at the Tennessee Funeral Directors Association's annual convention. Their president, Taylor Moore, he was very concerned about what the embalmers are seeing. So I went down and I briefed those embalmers that were at that conference, and I have captured on video footage 18 of 28 embalmers that were in the room with their hands raised, saying they're still seeing the white fibrous clots, these nasty things, in the first half of 2025. Yeah. So we have visual proof of this, and that the embalmers, they're scared, Dave, because they've never seen this phenomenon.
Would you drop that again on his head? Okay. Don, are you there?
What? Yes.
Are you listening?
I'm not. It looks like I must be the highest level spectator you have in this show. So.
Oh, really? Bill?
What does that mean?
Really? What does that mean exactly?
Well, I'm getting to watch a lot. Hey, so that he is absolutely correct. I mean, you see these YouTube videos out there by just regular, normal, everyday, ordinary, average funeral directors, and if it's a big conspiracy, then they sure got a lot of people together to promote that conspiracy.
Yeah.
So it's an extremely high concern. I think on the Donald Trump side of it, I guess he gets to take the blame for being the guy who initiated it. So maybe from that perspective, it's kind of hard for him to back off of it. I think where I take umbrage is that how quickly we gave Moderna and Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson immunity from being sued over this thing, which just turned us all into a bunch of guinea pigs for him.
Well, I would agree with him that Donald Trump was being lied to by people like Fauci and the Wuhan thing and WHO, and I would agree with that. But and maybe he shouldn't have done what he did, but I think he's excusable. But after that, finding out that what these guys were doing and how many people were suddenly dying suddenly, and then Pfizer and places like that, they wouldn't disclose anything for 75 years, and they finally got that taken away from them. Remember that? How did that happen?
Don's right, by the way. There's still a lot of work to do. We need to get Congress to, first of all, take these jabs off the shelves. We need to then also take away Big Pharma's ability, their immunity from liability. Like any other product in America, they should be able to be sued if their product hurts somebody. We should also take away their ability to advertise on TV. Only 2 countries around the world let pharma advertise on TV, and we're one of them. We should also address the vaccine injured issue. Those people have been thrown by the wayside. Remember, they were loyal. They took the vaccine.
Yeah.
We should prosecute criminally people like Fauci, Birx, Walensky, people that we know lied to us, that told us the shots were safe and effective when they knew neither was true. We never did really get a formal apology to Americans to say we were wrong to mandate these jabs on you.
I would like to know how many in Congress actually took the shot.
We all want to know that.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be an investigation into that too.
because they exempted themselves. They didn't have to take the shot if they didn't want to. Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, I want to know it.
Yeah, I think they also exempted postal workers too. I don't think postal workers were forced to take the jabs, but Bill knows that the military was.
The military was ordered
active
to
duty
do
and
it,
the National Guard.
and there was a lot of death involved, death and disease, especially amongst pregnant women in the military. They had a lot of babies die inside them because of these shots. Am I wrong?
Yeah, the DMed data was all, and that got changed by the DOD after it was discovered that they had a tremendous rise starting in 2021 of, like you say, miscarriages amongst the women, nerve damage, heart attacks, strokes. And like Bill says, these are people in their 20s and 30s, young, healthy troops.
Yeah, athletic, healthy people.
Yeah, turbo cancers in a 20 or 30-year-old. It's crazy.
I never took it. There was a lot of pressure. And my career really took a serious hit, but I wouldn't do it. I didn't think it was right.
Smart move.
And I thought that there were a lot of people who were looking to me to stand up to it too, right? So if I capitulated, so I never did.
Yeah.
But what they did to the American soldiers, I'll never forget what they did to the American soldiers.
And you shouldn't. Yeah.
Well, that's
Exit is offered to let them come back, but very few have actually come back because they don't want to come back and work with people that threw them under the bus.
Yeah. Well, the number I heard at the time, and hopefully you can confirm this, was that there was a 300% increase in miscarriages among military women.
That
And
sounds
now
about right based on Tom Renz's and Lieutenant Colonel Teresa Long's data.
Yeah. And so the other point that I think we should make is that don't forget that right after the warp speed stuff, or at least during it, Donald Trump came out and talked about hydroxychloroquine. They all made fun of him.
That's right.
And I am living proof that ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, I ended up with the Delta version, and my wife and I were just terribly sick. And had it not been for hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, then I probably wouldn't be here today. And that's not hyperbole, because a close relative of mine who caught Delta the same time I did, he had got the vaccination, and then when he got really sick, he went to the hospital, and 2 weeks later he was dead. And I blame Fauci, and I blame all of them for his death.
Yeah. All right, we're coming down to 1 minute closing arguments, because it's 4 minutes before I got to go. Bill.
It's obviously a big issue to me that we were talking about. I think that I would like an apology. I would like that they acknowledge what they did was wrong, morally wrong, scientifically wrong, medically wrong. They messed a lot of people up. I would also like us people like me and Don, to remember what happened, and us be committed to making sure stuff like that never happens again to the American people.
Okay, Don.
I agree 100%. A step or two in the right direction there is what we just accomplished today in the Capitol, and will come on the floor, and that's initiative petition reform and a redistricting map, which theoretically will give us 7 Republicans and from Missouri.
Good. Okay, Tom.
I've in the last month have had phone conversations with both Dr. Robert Malone, who's part of the CDC's ACIP committee, and also with Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, who's the director of the NIH. So they're both aware of the white fibrous clot issue. And I told them this is a perfect example of something that a U.S. citizen had to do because the CDC, FDA, and NIH refused to do their jobs.
Okay. Other than Dave Weinbaum show, where can people find you, Tom?
My wonderful assistant, Miss Laura Kasner, runs a free Substack that we call Clotastrophe at Laura, Laura, Kasner, Kasner.substack.com. And
Bill Hardwick, where can they find you?
We're on Facebook, and we're on BillHardwick.com.
And Don Mayhew.
I'm not that fancy. I'm on Facebook. Of course, I don't know much how to use it, but yeah, you can always get in touch with me also through the Capitol office for official things.
Okay, so what's the name for you guys that you're both running for a Senate seat? Do you have that memorized yet? the Bruise Brothers. All right, they fail to bruise each other, and that you don't see that. So, anyways, thank you so much, Tom Mayhew and Bill
Hardwick.
Yeah, what's your name? And Lisa and JP.
That's
thanks everybody.
That's Hardwick spelled Mayhew.
God bless all of you, and stay away from the mRNA.
WebYam on my computer. It's WebYam. I didn't know you were WebYam. Okay, listen. We got a minute to go. Thank you so much. Thank my audience, and it was a great show, I thought. And do you have any other comments? Because I don't think I got enough time, but I don't think so. But I really enjoyed this, and it's so nice to see 3-4 heroes on this show that have shown their vigilance to help us and to do the right things, despite all the pressure and all the threats and all the lies. And there's been tons of it. And Congress, we're coming for you, and we're coming for those that have been associated with killing people. That's all there is. Killing people for money is what's going on here, because you know what you're talking about, and you're lying about it, and we're not going to take it anymore. And I want to thank Ollie for coming, and Ollie for listening. And we'll be back with another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show next Friday.